Roger Canton. He's going to set the pace for our discussion on where we are going, and some of the industry. So please help me to welcome our very own Professor Roger Canton to give us his presentation. Baby. Yes. They'll move it for you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and let me acknowledge agriculture, who today because you are a practical person in default, and also my brother just met. That's my former director's constituency. That is the Kita. Honorable Jojo Lupe, and also all distinguished invited guests that are here and represented, and the younger ones that are here to share their experiences with us. Of course, first I would like to thank the Almighty God for this opportunity, which I do not take lightly, and I will have to thank the organizers, Bernard Koku Avle, Samuel Atamensan, Vivian Loco, and our city colleagues who have made sure that Ghana government said I'm tired, I should go on retirement, even though I didn't say I'm tired. I'm still very strong, you know, but they said I should go on retirement. Yeah, I don't think a lot of you will agree with government, but that's what they have said. Yeah, but I thank God that city treats me very well, and of course, the University of Ghana, College of Applied and Basic Sciences, who use me as an examiner for their work, you know, and I think that is fine. They are keeping me working, and I hope John DeMille will employ me to be carrying his bag around after this. Yeah. I don't want to think that I have monopoly over wisdom, but I can say I have been born into a farming community. My father was a big chief, a paramount chief, one of the biggest chiefs in Ghana, a very good friend of the former president of Ghana, who's gone out and represented the president on several occasions. They took part in Madame Fatia's dowry and all that, and was involved in the resolution of the Boku chieftaincy case with Domahini, Wenchimahini, and others. So I picked agriculture from that level. And when I went to secondary school, to the best secondary school in northern Ghana, Navrango Secondary School, we had a very good school farm, and we did a lot of agriculture. Whereas other secondary schools will close early and come late, we will close late and come early, courtesy our dynamic, indefatigable headmaster, George Collins MacDonald, a Scottish, and then Madam Hawa Ogede, one-time Boku Central MP. So I'm coming here with ideas that I will share with you. I have done research for 31 years. And I didn't. When I got a Commonwealth scholarship to go and see and come back. So I'm not talking theory. What I'm sharing with you is not things that I. So, first, the task I've been asked to handle is agribusiness. These are some of our experimental materials from my place where I used to work, the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Savannah Agricultural Research Institute. I was based in the Manga Research Station. I had to go and open that station, and now I'm glad to see that I left for Richmond 2022, and two of my younger colleagues, one is now the director and one is also the deputy director. I think you'll clap for me. I'm a good. It means I have mentored people. Instead of asking to go on, they say go on contract. I told them I'm not a contractor to go on contract. What have you after 30 years if you cannot do? You will need 2 years chinchanga kind of retirement distance. I don't think it makes sense anyway. That's my thinking. Yeah. So basically, I'm going to navigate you through what agribusiness is, because I don't want to assume we all are at the same level of that term. I mean, it could be a category. That people will define variously. I mean, it becomes like an egalitarian term. two key components or ingredients that all underpin agribusiness. Then also my good friend Bernard Avle, the indefatigable Avle, when I was invited as a panelist a couple of months ago to evaluate His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his government about the 120 days he spent in government and the things he pledged to do. Even though I was redundant on the panel because the president didn't mention any agricultural issue per se, so I was redundant. But Bernard Everett still invited me and gave me work. So he asked me to propose some policy interventions. So when he gave me this opportunity, I didn't add it, and he insisted I will need that because the Honorable Minister, his deputy, they will be here. And then I will conclude, and then the way forward. So agribusiness, as the name implies, is a combination of the words agriculture and business. And it refers to commerce in farming and farming-related activities. Very simple. I didn't take this from any dictionary or any book. This is how, from my personal life, I felt agribusiness is. Then dovetailing further, agribusiness encompasses all activities related to agricultural products, from production to processing and distribution. It essentially refers to the business side of farming, encompassing the entire food supply chain, including the supply of inputs, processing, and final distribution to consumers. I know some people might ask, why start with financial services? As the Bible says in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 10, the verse 19, I will not go through so much of it. It says, a feast is made for laughter, wine makes merry, and money is the answer for everything. Money answers everything. If you don't have money, what can you do? Honorable John DeMillo is an example. He veered into agriculture from his main career, the son. Today we celebrate him because he is successful. And what is the success? It means he was able to invest in agriculture. I don't think if he had ideas and didn't have the pesos, he would have gone into agriculture and be called a successful farmer. Isn't it? So money is key. And if they give you a job to do without money, you will fail. You cannot do anything. So that is what underscoring by agriculture and then money. This includes farming, ranching, aquaculture, apiculture, snail rearing, mushroom production, and other activities related to the growing and raising of food crops, such as cereals, dry grain leguminous crops, root and tuber crops, vegetable crops, economic tree crops, rearing of small ruminants, poultry, and technical crops, such as cotton, which we now refer to as the white gold by our brothers in Burkina and then Benin. I'll be dovetailing into them shortly. This involves transforming raw agricultural products into usable forms, such as milling grains, canning fruits and vegetables, or processing dairy products in both liquid and solid forms. Regrettably and sadly, this is where we are weakest, or or almost lack as a country, but reliant on foreign imports at the movement or transport food products, livestock, poultry, from farms and processors to consumers, including wholesalers, retailers, and transportation networks. This is usually done through a vibrant and reliable transportational infrastructure, such as standard and solid durable roads, railways, air, water, and fortunately, this area too, we are not doing very well as a country. Now, inputs. This involves providing farmers with the necessary inputs for production, such as seeds, fertilizers, herbicides, insecticide, machinery, equipment, and then storage facilities. But as we talk, if you look at seeds, our seed systems as a nation, but later I'll be talking more about it under the policy issue, we still import huge quantities of hybrid seeds from South Africa and then Seedco in Zimbabwe, it doesn't make sense because we have the capacity. I worked for 31 years in CSIR, and we have this Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and then Warren Buffett Foundation that gave me, very generous funding to come out with what we call drought-tolerant maize for Africa, which later metamorphosed into stress-tolerant maize for Africa, which involved countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, and then Mali Republic. And under this, we used to compete for best research, dissemination, and also breeding countries. And I can tell you, we have been beating Nigeria. For those other countries, they don't come near us. It's Nigeria and Ghana. If they beat us this year, best breeding, the following year we'll beat them. And we have enough materials by CSIR, SARI, and then cross-research. Top-notch, world-class maize. In fact, the world's first maize with protein was produced by Ghanaian scientists, Chumefia Friye, Bedu Apraku, and others, my peers. And Americans upstairs are using them as germplasm. So why do you go to be picking things from Pioneer and others? It just doesn't make sense. I hope I'm not throwing sand into somebody's garage. Then we're talking about services. The provision of extension services, research and development, and then administrative support to farmers. These are all segments of then retailing, selling of food products and other agrarian products to consumers, whether in grocery stores, supermarkets, and all that. And it seems to be acidic. You whatever content that the food product may have.
On the Upside Down Show this week, we present to you the bold, vibrant, and brilliant Anita S. King. Expect nothing short of real talk, raw truths, and revelations. We always need that one opportunity to sprout, and she, like any other, isn't an exception. Ghana made me, she said.
My career started here.
Here in Ghana.
Right. Ghana is my foundation, 150%.
Great.
Home is what built me.
Great.
Wow. Yes, Ghana is what built me. If you see Anita and who Anita is today, it's because Ghana built me. Yeah, 100%.
To the land.
You know?
Right. So
love you, Canada, but Ghana built me.
And even though she's perceived as a superwoman, she's had to make tough decisions at some point.
I had to take 2 steps back away from my career. And also, and this is what I share with a lot of my friends and my colleagues now, is a wonderful appreciation that in different phases of your life, you are a particular person.
Right.
You don't have to be the same person you were before
True.
that.
Exactly.
You have nobody to please.
So, set your reminder and
Honorable Dr. Brianna Champon, and they estimated every week we're importing $2 million of tomato. Does that make sense? And we say we are poor. You are important. They don't spend cedis. It just doesn't make sense. But we have the capacity. But because under the current dispensation, the CSR, the way we are structured, vegetables and tree crops and other are not so key. They are like afterthought. Our focus is on the key ones. Maize, soya beans, rice, and those things. So vegetables are always a second thought. I used to work on vegetables, particularly onion. And in this country, the late Professor Norman will always refer his students to me. No research scientists have published even 1/10 of what I have done under onion, several of them. And they are in very high quality impact journal, not predatory journals, you know. Yet we don't fund them. Who doesn't make sense? So I would like to appeal to you so that if we establish an independent horticultural institute that will focus on vegetable crops, it will help us. Huge monies are lost always. Look at tomatoes. $400 million US are spent annually, and it's increasing. Just on tomato. I'm telling you, I have the data here. Ghana, Saska, they are here. Then you're talking about onion. There's even worse. Carrots, everything, even up to toothpicks, all of them. Cabbages and all that. Yes, I have them here. When I came, Samens gave me the opportunity to talk about the Sway Drew conversation February last year at this particular hotel at the other this and that. Yes, huge losses. But I dare say, I'm here to see that economist who can face me on that, to tell me how you can manage the Ghana cedi using economic, just talking economics theories. It doesn't work that way. But agriculture can fix it. Because it's agriculture. I'm not a politician, please. Don't associate me. But I'm telling you as it is. We can feed ourselves. We don't need to go to anybody to pick this. Look at that small, tiny country, Burkina Faso. They share borders with my hometown, Chumu. Go and see the wonderful things happening. Even sending grain and other things. When we should be sending grains to them. Their soils are the poorest you can find. It's one of the poorest countries some years back with Niger. But now they are even exporting. And recently I'm told the young soldier said, he sent Edison to his excellent Jordan to stop Ghanaians sending foodstuffs to them. They don't need your food. Heading towards what? Food self-sufficiency. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking of food security. No, the two times are very different. Later I can respond to that if you want to. 2, we need to ban the importation of maize seeds into Ghana and to fund research institutions and seed companies to meet our country's seeds demands for food self-sufficiency. Provision of complete mechanization centers to provide timely mechanization services, right from land preparation, planting, weeding management, fertilizer application, water management, harvesting, storage, and then processing. But for the past, even from Nkrumah's time up to date, anytime we're talking about mechanization, we end up talking about what? Tractorization. Tractorization is not anywhere mechanization. It's just a small, minute, is there a part? Well, a key part anyway, but it's not. So let us get these things right. Nkrumah did it, and it failed. They brought some funny tractors from Czechoslovakia, Z50 and others, Russia and others. Some came with snow plows. What are snow plows doing in Ghana? They brought all those things, and we accepted them. It has metamorphosed throughout and every now and then. You know, Kufo came, they came in, and Honorable Professor Milton, all that, they came in. And when these things even came, they fell into wrong hands. Very big people, religious leaders, chiefs, politicians, people who have power. Pick distance. Over 80% have been sent to Burkina and Niger and others. I am not speculating. I know what I'm talking about. I live in Boku for 40, 30 years, so I know what I'm talking about. They got them out. Go and find out now, where are they? And like I said, Ghana has more tractors sitting on stones in the north and Jura. If we can get spare parts and fix them, very quality tractors, Macy Ferguson, MF, the best tractor you can find. The other in Tamale, you go, it's galore. The whole place, if they push you are falling on old tractors. Go to Jura, go to Sankore, all those places. Why not then fix those ones and put them into a pool? So mechanization, Honorable, will really, really help us. Women up north still are there bending down. Look, their waist. What children? Why? Establishment of fertilizer manufacturing company to significantly lower prices, timely availability, right type of fertilizer and formulations and resources abound in Ghana for that. Any country that discovers oil and processes oil, urea is a byproduct. You get products like what? Liquid ammonia and liquid carbon dioxide. Subject them to higher temperatures and higher elevated pressure. And after that, you rotate it with higher temperatures. Then they cool. You get urea. As simple as that. It's not rocket science. Common sense. And now we have, is that Ghana oil, the oil facility, Ghana oil, Tema oil, exactly. And this was done by Nkrumah in the 60s, when we didn't have oil. And he will import oil, crude here, process, and lower prices. So we should have even been, well, how did we lose out that? And now we have oil. You go Jubilee oil and other, even I'm now told any place in the north, I'm told geological have got what? Oil, savannah and other, huge quantities. So why not process that and then we can put up an oil fertilizer factory? Honorable, we are nice, I mean, we have good relations with the Moroccans, the Royal Republic of Morocco. I saw Honorable Ablakwa talking of some collaborations in that. And Morocco can help us with that. I'm told there were discussions to set up one around Takrady area there. I think if we do that, that will really help us. Because when Russia invaded Ukraine, I stated in Ukraine anyway, Kharkov, the second city that is being bombed every now and then, you know, you will realize that they had enough fertilizer, particularly urea. It's just cheap because they have oil. So when they produce the byproduct, they produce so much of urea. And that's what they have been sending to countries that are aligned to the Russian Federation. And Ukrainians have also been huge money. They just give them for free. So we can do a lot. Also, our soils in this country, in fact, all the soils of Ghana, are there any soil scientists to challenge me? Are all acidic? No, if there's one, he can come. We can take samples. I don't speculate. No, if you know, you can. Let's pick samples. Sample, common sense. We just go into soil research or any of the University of Ghana Soil Science Department, one of the best you can find in Africa. We go and assess them. All of them are acidic. And when soils are acidic, the pH are what? Very low. No amount of fertilizer can be effective there. You are wasting your time. I know Ghanaians like prayer, and even Obinim and Co can pray and change it. Once you apply them, the soils are not good. They are not good. Don't waste your time to pray on them. But it doesn't make sense. It won't work. Things just don't work like that. We can work on that. Revive food processing facilities such as the sugar, rice, tomato, and meat factories to add value to our farm produce and reduce waste. As we talk, there's a gentleman who traveled all the way from the Upper West. I mean, can you stand up and the minister should, I want the minister to, can we give him a clap? This is a young man, or you can sit down. Mr. Eric, you see, there was a float of proposals with one, the lady's name, Sally. And they contacted me as a millet and sorghum agronomist. They wanted to get people to support European Union, 150,000 pounds for 5 West African countries. and an army. You know, Africans, when proposal, everybody writes, even market women write. So a whole lot of, a gamut of them wrote, and he and another, there were only two. The other one was from Burkina Faso. Yes. Nigeria alone had over 65 who applied. Nothing, they couldn't see it up. Then this gentleman, the facilities in Tumu there, doing so well, processing soya bean and maize into grades. And Burkina Faso are picking them. And all attempts for school feeding program project to patronize, they refuse to accept. He tried severally, DCs, MPs, and regional ministers, they just refuse. So how do you build local industries? When you are killing people who personally have put their money in, you say one village, one down, one district, one factory. You can't even maintain practice that Nkrumah have done. None of them is operating. Why? What is the problem? Commander is not working. You go to bus driver, it's not working. Rice factory in Boku and Tamalja are not working. Cotton, this is all closed up. I mean, we need to refix, but I'm happy. And your resetting, we are hoping you will really reset. You have a lot to reset, John DeMello. Yeah. Yes, I pity you. But agriculture is one of the most debilitating areas. Yes, it's difficult. In fact, if I were the president of Ghana one day and I pray that, I thought you would have said amen. Yeah, so that what I'm thinking is that Agri should be the #1 budget item. After agriculture, education. After education, health. All the other ones, I'm not saying they are not, but we can do without them. Because if you eat well, are you not fine? I don't know when I've ever been to hospital. I only go to hospital when I want to travel outside Ghana, and they say they need medical exam. I just go and I'll talk to one of my medical classmates. They'll just fill the form and I fly out and fly. I don't even go and they take my sample, you know. Yes, because if you eat well, you are good to go. If you don't eat, how can you go and sit down in classroom and learn? You can't. A hungry man is an angry man. You are all here. Whose of you have not eaten? I cannot see by hand. Unless, of course, maybe you are fasting. Yes, even madmen eat. Isn't it? Yes, everybody eats. Yeah. Revamping of the once vibrant cotton value chain called the white gold. You know, and I think honorable, this is an area we can look at, see that, because Ghana had the largest or the second biggest cotton generation in my hometown, Tumu. Yes, it's there, working excellently. And we had the best cotton lint in West Africa. But it has collapsed because of purely wrong policies. That one is a purely, so it's a Ghana Cotton Company. They destroyed, they threw it away. Auction vehicles, auction bungalows, and guest houses. Why? What is wrong with this? Because that policy was a disaster. You didn't need to do that. But I hope I've been hearing the Upper West Regional Minister have been talking so much about it. And I think since that is your sector crop, you people need to look at that. We have big cotton generators lying down there. The Tumu one, very big one. Pusu Namogo, late quality, state of the art. When you are entering Bolga, then Tamale has. And why also have some private ones? They are just lying there. We can fix them and use them to even process groundnuts and other cashew and others, so that after the cotton has been jailed so they will not lie idle. In fact, when His Excellency was talking about 24-hour economy, I just looked. In the 70s, the cotton year was doing 24 hours because they had day and night shifts. Yes, I saw it. Mechanics, engineers, women were selling food and other things. So if we fix this, we will make a lot of money. And while I was training the Soviet Union in Kharkov, at the Kharkovsky Kharkov Agri Institute, where the welfare soil scientist was named after, there our student work, my thesis are still with me. The best predecessor crop for maize. When I say predecessor, the best crop to follow maize for maize to follow, is cotton. But when you apply, you plant cotton a year or two, and you want to plant maize after, you can reduce your cost of production by 50%. The agri economists know what I'm talking about. Cost of seeds will stay, plywood will stay, but in terms of fertilizer, herbicides, weeds, because the cotton will take and leave a lot of fertilizer. So the maize crop will benefit from that. So it is a very friendly crop, and they don't share the same weed and pest problems. So we really need honorable, if the cotton project can come, it will create a lot of jobs. And I'm hoping that when you revive it, we wouldn't be transporting the lint to Akosombo, Texas. We can open a textile factory in another Upper West or Upper East or Savannah area there to be processing, and people can support that. Yes. So in conclusion, government and the private sector and all stakeholders in the agribusiness continuum must come together, plan together, implement jointly, monitor, evaluate, review, and learn together, and shift or change gear to top gear where necessary, fix weaker chains, and move progressively or militantly forward. If Ghana's agriculture is indeed poised to achieve the anticipated desired results, objectives, goals, and create the needed impact on the livelihoods of the Ghanaian people. Finally, Honorable, I will be coming to your office. I'm leading an advocacy on, I just told the Vice Chairman on the Parliamentary Committee, Select Committee on Agriculture, Food, and Cocoa Affairs. This species, these are donkeys. You know, they are plowing in Bolgatanga. They just sent me the picture, the immediate past MC, Honorable Rex Asanga. Donkeys are, that's my last, donkeys are now an endangered species. They are killing them carelessly in this country and carrying the hide to China to make a product called Ijao. And Ijao is an expensive product that is anti-aging. So if you are in China and you are not in the category of class like people like Bernard Avle, Honorable John DeMello, and Vivian Carl, Loco and Co., you can buy it. It makes them look younger. Yes, it makes them look younger. Yes, it's not for the ordinary, the mob browers. No, it's not the mob brower. It's another class. So they patronize it very well. It beautifies ladies' shoes, like palm cake. The lady looks very fresh and very nice, looking very cute and gorgeous. So they are doing everything to destroy. And in fact, it's a huge, it's epidemic proportions. Meanwhile, China used to have the largest donkey population of 14 million. Within the span of 2-3 years, they killed almost 80 million, level 1 million. And the Chinese government under Xi Jinping, and you know that one time I like the comment, I lived in Russia for 6 good years. For them, the laws work. You can be Gorbachev's son or Putin's son. When you do wrong, what you'll go through, even if you are drunk on beer brewed from beans, the beer will vanish from your face. Oh yeah, it will vanish, but you will be punished. So these donkeys are now being killed carelessly. AU have come out with a ban, and then ECOWAS will have come out with a ban. But Ghana, when we are confronting them, you know, every Ghanaian is a lawyer. You know, they tell you that Ghana Parliament hasn't signed haven't passed any law. But of course, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't want to pretend to be one. But what I know from commonsensical approach is that if a law has been passed by a higher group, like AU or ECOWAS, to which, both of which Ghana is a member and signatory to these organizations. So the laws of Ghana are subservient to those laws. So if they pass a law, automatically Ghana law should fall in line. Is that not honorable? I mean, you are lawmakers. Yes. So ECOWAS says something, we should all support. But we are accepting, now they are using Ghana and Nigeria, where the criminal elements now are carrying this into, because the Francophone ones are doing well. But they now will bring them on hooves to Ghana, slaughter them in Zwarungu there, and then carry them in. In fact, I'm yet to meet Honorable Dominic Ayine, his backyard, where your NDC office is opposite. The slaughtering is the Zwarungu meat factory. The war is so terrible. No, you can call them. It's nauseating. So I'm pleading with you. I'll be coming with my team to talk with you so that you can do that just for our brothers in the upper age. I think you owe them something, livelihood, because they don't need tractor, because the soils are shallow and poor. So using tractor on them, only a mad person. In certain areas like the Bulsa area, the soils are heavy. You just don't be using tractors anywhere. There are strategic areas where you want to give mechanization, you target them. They will prefer diesels. And donkeys what? Need no spare parts. So whether Ghana dollar is rising or not, they are in business. On this note, I want to say, I thank you very much.
Prof, thank you very much. Donkeys indeed don't need spare parts. I think he's triggered the conversations. He's made some very key points. Honorable John, you're in the hot seat in a few minutes, because the demands from him, he wants us to set up a vegetable crop research institute. He's looking at mechanization differently in the proper sense. Our soils are all acidic. What are we doing? And then, of course, cotton. Processing, he says we are very weak with that. But I won't put you on the spot yet. I'll allow you to give us your keynote address, and then I'll ask you a few questions around that. So please, let's welcome the Honorable John Dumelo, the Deputy Minister of Agriculture.
Praise the Lord. I wish I didn't have to speak after Prof, but pressure. Good morning. I want to commend CTFM for organizing such a program. Because it's CTFM and it's a CTFM's program, I want to say that I listen to CTFM every day. It's between City and the other station, the other one, Joy. But I now listen to City. When I go to a Joy FM program, I'll say I listen to Joy, but now it's a City FM program. And I want to say that when I entered, the high-profile people sitting here, I got scared because most of them vetted me before my vetting as a deputy minister, and they know themselves. And so, but now it's not a vetting. I finished that one. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, farmers, businesswomen, my colleague MPs. It's an honor to be here today to talk about Agri. First and foremost, I want to say that CTFM's timely effort in organizing this program is very crucial because we need everybody on board, both the private and public sector. But I want to also say that beyond this, when CTFM is organizing such programs like this, I think the next set of programs is for us, or is for CTFM to be able to go to individual farms as well. So that if all of us here decide to be farmers, CTFM should follow up and say, you, what are you farming? You, what are you farming? You, what are you farming? So that we bring the practical part of it. As Deputy Minister for Food and Agri, and also the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West, I come to you not as a public servant, but also a farmer. My journey from farm to, from film to farm to politics has been very deeply rooted in my firm belief for the transformation of power. Some would ask, okay, so why politics? But at a point in time, you realize that when you're a farmer, you need certain policies to shape farmers and to make farming better. And so one of the reasons why I entered politics is also because to be able to make farming very great again and to make farming sexy for the young ones. I don't know if I can use that word, but I've used it. Ghana's economic backbone has always been Agri, and today we stand at a pivotal moment. poised to unlock its immense potential. Of course, the opportunities in agribusiness extend far beyond the primary production. There's value addition, there's agro-processing, there's research, there's environmental management and establishment of efficient market. And this is where our collective expertise come into play. Our government is fully committed to creating an enabling environment for this transformation. The Feed Ghana program, a flagship initiative, aims to significantly boost agricultural productivity, strengthen value chains, and create thousands of jobs for our youth and agripreneurs. And also, we are also encouraging churches, schools, communities to be able to get into Agri and also have some farms. Now, complementing this is the Youth in Agriculture Program, YIAP, which is significantly designed to rebrand Agri and motivate young ones to embrace it as a commercial, long-life venture, providing essential inputs, technical support, and training. I think one of the most important things about agriculture is efficiency. Recently, I was in Korea to learn about how they've had their success story in rice production, and it will interest you to know that they produce about 6 to 7 tons per hectare, whilst Ghana just does about maybe 3 to 4. And so efficiency is key, and that's how come what Prof said about research is very important. And so research is important for us to maximize productivity. And so I'll definitely write down what you said about the Vegetable Research Center to be able to, I'll champion it not for you, but for all of us, so that we'll be able to move Ghana in the right direction. And also soil testing. Soil testing is important. We at the Ministry of Agri, we've championed some of the soil scientists to go around the country and test the soil, because as politicians, every year we'll distribute fertilizer. But really, is that really the issue? The issue is let's distribute the right fertilizer to the right places so that we can maximize efficiency. And then also, I've visited your wonderful Upper East and Upper West, from Chichuluga to Tumu to Silibele to Golu, and then down to Hang, all those places. I've championed those places. And of course, the cotton industry is something that we need to work on. Most of the genuine machines are not working, and we hope that, in fact, I don't think Ghana has produced a single ton of cotton in the last few years, and the cotton is the white gold. And so we are resetting Ghana. It might take some time, but we hope that we'll reset it in the right direction very soon. And on this note, I just want to encourage each and everyone to get into farming. The thing about farming is times and seasons. But let's try as much as possible to farm in the dry season. And so if you have some land, get it by the water side, do irrigation, because it will interest you to know that I used to do cabbage. Cabbage is like 1,200 per bag. Dry season, the same cabbage is like 4,000 per bag. That means if you're a cabbage farmer in the dry season, there's money there, you will make money. I haven't started making money yet, but you'll make money. And so I'm encouraging each and every one of you to get into dry season farming, where you will definitely make a lot of money. Our aim as government is to encourage all year round farming. And all year round farming involves irrigation. And irrigation also involves private sector. And so we are encouraging each and every one of you to get into the private sector part of agriculture so that we can make Agri great again. And so together, let us leverage our collective strength to build self-reliant, prosperous, and food-secure Ghana for generations to come. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I think he deserves a better round of applause. You know, this year we are doing a lot of things in agriculture, and one of the things we are doing is the Agri Fair, which is starting tomorrow. So I'll just give you a quick...
Here
thing about that?
Agrifair 2025 is just around the corner, happening from the 20th to the 22nd of June at the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra. Get ready for a fun, educative, and exciting experience as we bring together the very best in agriculture, food, innovation, and entertainment all in one place. Exhibitors, if you have registered, it's time to pay and secure your spot before it's too late. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your product to thousands of attendees. Call 0205-973-973 now to make your payment and lock in your space at Ghana's biggest agri event. Come and enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices and treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Don't miss this. See you there. The Agri Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 City FM and is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, Development Bank Ghana, Agri Impact Limited, the Horticulture Business Platform, and Twellium Ghana Limited. Our technology partner is Farmerline.
All right,
Agri
so
Fair
I'm hoping
2025
to see
is
you
almost
guys
here.
tomorrow at the Agri Fair. I want to engage Honorable John for a few seconds. Can you please put this on for me? Basically, why I want to engage him is we all know he's in the industry. So I think industry people like industry people, especially in terms of policy and championing their cause. John, you just encourage people to go into farming. You started with acting, and then the next thing we saw you're on the farms, you know, going into a lot of things. What pushed you into farming? Yes.
What pushed me?
Yes, why did you go into farming, of all the other things in the world?
Thank you. I think at a point in time, I took a trip to the north and I realized that, there is a lot of land and there are so many things we can do to it. And so I got into farming, let's say about 11, 12 years ago.
Right. How has it been, the journey? I know you're doing poultry, you're doing pepper, ginger, and all that. What other things are you doing?
I used to do snails, and then they died. I'll tell you that snail story later. So
I thought snailing was easy to do. Tomorrow at the clinic, I'm going to do the course because I want to go into snail farm. I hope my boss is not listening.
You know, Agri is about passion.
Yeah.
Once you have passion, it will keep you going. And so there was a time I went to the States and I realized that, snails is expensive. It's like, I think it's like $5 or $6. And I said, but this thing in Ghana, it's like 1 or 2 cedis. So I came back, set up my snail farm quickly, did my projections. I said, I had about 50,000 snails on the farm. And I said, within a year or two, I'll get like 1 million snails. If I sell one for $1, that's $1 million.
Businessman.
So I became rich instantly. And then 3 months down the line, 50% of that 50,000 died. Wow. And then another 3 months, the other rest died. So I started eating my losses. And then, that was it. But one thing about Agri is, at a point in time, you will fail. But when you fail, it's the passion that keeps you going. And it's the experience that will keep you going. I mean, now now I'm focused more on poultry. And with poultry, yes, I've failed along the line. I mean, some of the day-old chicks have died. Getting feed is another issue. But I've learned along the line, and I realized that if we don't do it ourselves as Ghanaians, who else will come and feed us? We need to feed ourselves. And so I'm into poultry, I'm into ginger. This year I'll get into tomatoes and onions, because that 400 million we import every year, I want to get some.
You want to get some?
I want some of the people to come and buy from me so that hopefully I would also be a millionaire.
And I'm sure you know that.
And being a millionaire is from farming, not from politics.
Okay.
I need to.
You've issued your disclaimer. Yes. You know that we are spending $2 billion annually to import chicken.
Yes.
You've gone into the industry now, and I'm told that it's only 5% from Ghana that we do here. Yeah. So it means that 95% are coming from outside. Yes. What is the plan? You are in there, you know the challenges, spoke about the feed, all those, the value chain.
Yeah. I think the reason why we've launched the Nkokon program, where we want to make meat available to almost everybody. And so we are distributing birds with feed across the country for people to also start rearing the chicken. And it's hybrid, and so you can get it for meat, you can get it for eggs. But what we want to do is we want to encourage people to get into poultry. We also want to make sure that the cost of production comes down so that we can compete with the imports. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, so why don't we ban the importation of poultry? Sometimes you just have to let the systems fight themselves out. And so once we are able to produce at a lower cost, a lot of Ghanaians will purchase from Ghana instead of purchasing the imported ones. And then also we need to encourage the importers to also produce a poultry right here in Ghana. But that notwithstanding, we need to also speak to the finance people to give us more money. It's hard to get financing from... He's looking back. It's hard to get financing from the financial...
Immediately he said finance, he's looking behind him.
Yes.
As if the person is behind him. William.
It's you. So we need to encourage the financial institutions to take a risk and help farmers to expand. I mean, there are so many commercial farmers here, Mr. Davis, a lot, Dr. Kamasa, and so on and so forth. And so if they're able to give us very low interest facilities, we'll be able to expand and feed Ghana well.
Okay, final one. Now, during this month, you were saying that we should move to the next level of going to the farms.
Right.
Actually, I've been going to the farms this month, speaking to the farmers, bringing out the issues and all that. Funding, infrastructure, policies that are not friendly and all that are some of the key things they've spoken about.
Right.
In a few minutes, how would you intend to address it as a government?
Well, as a government, we can't do everything alone. We need private participation when it comes to funding the Agri program. An example is the farm service centers. Now, we are trying to build 260 across the country. We as government can do part, but we're also inviting the private sector to help us to build it. That is one. The second one is, for most farmers, I encourage each and everyone to start small. Don't look at the big farms, and the big farms will impress you, but start small and grow the business. That's how we can make it. And the third one is, not everybody can be a farmer, but almost everybody can get into agribusiness. There are those who farm and there are those who process what is produced from the farm. And so adding value is something that we should also look at to be able to, expand our agri base.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable John Dumelo. Let's give him a round of applause. He'll still stay with us for a bit, so I'll bring him in as we go along. We have to move to the panel discussion. I'm going to quickly introduce our panel members, then we'll take it from there. Professor Roger Canton returns to the panel. Prof, please join me here on the panel. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. Sure. Mr. Davis Koboy, President of Federation of Association of Ghana Exporters, FAGE. Thank you very much, Mr. Davis. Mr. William Nete, Head of Agribusiness, Absa Bank Ghana. Please join us here. Dr. Mavis Oreku Asari, Food Scientist and CEO, Impact Food Hub. Mr. Bright Edward will join us later. He's coming from the ministry. He's in charge of the Feed Ghana program. Gentlemen and lady, thank you so much and welcome to the next part, which is the panel discussion. I'll start with you, Davis. You're also in the industry, doing great and leading an association which is very critical, FAGE, looking at the exports and all that. From where you sit, where should we start in terms of increasing, scaling up, value addition, and all that?
Good morning.
I think the mic is off. If we could please help with the microphone. Okay, Davis, you go on. No, we can't hear you. Okay, take mine and then I'll correct.
So thank you very much. I'm coming straight from the BOG hospital. Yesterday, I was just telling Samuel that I didn't want to put city in any panic mode. So I decided to come. I've not been well for the past 3 days. I also bring you greetings from the Federations of Association of Ghanaian Exporters. Let me start by saying FAGE is a collective agenda and movement. The name FAGE is not just a federation, there is collective agenda and movement to be able to stimulate export. Back to your question, I think if I heard you right, you wanted to know...
Look at where we are, value addition, scaling up, marketing, access, all that, because you are involved in all these areas.
Okay, so I think for us in faith, marketing is not an issue. It's rather the produce. And that's the more reason why I've been saying that, and I'm happy Honorable John DeMello is here, that if we're talking about export, if you don't produce, what do you export? That has been the fundamental question, because we've neglected the production ecosystem for a while now, and I think that is what we need to fix. Because this year, for instance, Fruit Logistica gave us a deal of almost $300 million. But the issue here is, do we have the produce? The answer here is no. So this is what we need to try and fix. Because if you are going to add value to whatever product, if you don't have the produce, what do you add value to? Yeah. And that has been a missing link for some time now. And we think that it needs to be fixed. How do you fix it? We need to be very intentional about what we are doing. And I really want to commend City for what they are doing. Because for me, we have a lot of people out there who really want to invest in the sector. But the issue here is the risks. Of course, there is risk in every venture. But agriculture risk is a bit higher. But you need to be very passionate and very intentional about it. So I think that by and large, the issue here about for us to be able to fix our produce sector, because if we don't have the produce, what do you have value to? What do you even transport, and what do you even sell for export? That is a big problem. Currently, as we speak, if you even have avocado alone, for an acre, it's giving you about 300,000 Ghana cedis. If you convert that to cedis, into dollars, that tells you how much you'll be earning. So if you're intentional about increasing our production, we can rake in the necessary foreign exchange. Yesterday, I was at the 24-hour economy meeting. I am a member of the meeting. I was telling His Excellency that we need to fix the production ecosystem, because the issue here is the orders are there, but are we able to meet the orders? The answer here is no. If anybody tells you there's no market for our produce, tell the person, I say the person is a liar, because there are markets all over. There are markets all over for our produce. If you also look at our branding now, we've really upped our game. Last week, we finished the Horticulture Expo. Yes. And if you look at the variety of things people exhibited, displayed, it matched any foreign produce. So that tells you that for brandy, the wrong way of branding is a thing of the past. We move on to another level. But the issue here, do we have the produce itself to be able to brand? So I think that we should be able to fix the production ecosystem. The
production. Mavis, do you agree? And what would you say we should do to fix it? Agriculture has a lot of arms and legs and all that, but you can give us an idea of areas where we can easily fix and ones that will require medium to long term.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're good. And I'll first of all also want to commend City Channel 1 TV for the amazing job they're doing, especially for this month. It's been very impressive. From where I sit, as a food scientist or as a research scientist who has transitioned into private sector, everything that my boss has said sits well with me in terms of production. We have the, ability, like he said, to produce, right? In quantities and quality-wise to meet any international standards. And I think a lot of focus has been on production. Okay, let's produce. But what happens to what you produce? Processing is now being placed at the center or the forefront of the discussion. But when you talk about processing, what really are we looking at? We just heard Prof in his presentation talk about how lots of processing facilities have become defunct, right? There's been a lot of focus, whether it's through the 1D1F policy or some other interventions that have focused more on setting up huge factories in communities to process. However, has that been successful? In my opinion, it hasn't. So if we want to talk processing, value addition, we should rethink and have a holistic approach where we're putting farmers, we're putting people in the value chain who can, if they are given the right incentives, the right technical expertise, or the right help in terms of the right mindset, and also access to funding, can be able to do the little in their communities. Setting up appropriate technology, small-scale processing units, incubation hubs that people can go to get their products processed under supervision to meet quality standards. That can really be impactful, because if you do this within the different locales that we're talking about, we know where the products are coming from. We know where yam is produced. We know where cassava is produced. We know where maize, So that we have to really zoom in and find really practical ways of helping with the value addition that we're talking about, or helping with processing, which can have a direct impact on the economy, rather than relying on some models that may not have worked, are not working, and then living under the pretense that we are doing something in that space.
This question is to all of you on the models that we have been doing so far or using so far that have proven not to be doing any good for us. If you can tell us some of these models that we should do away with and new ones that we should consider that will do us good as a country. This can go to Prof. Davis and Mavis. Any of you can take this.
Okay, so let me come in. And I was a 2000 national best farmer, so and I'm still on record as the youngest to have won the award.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think for me, I think we should be able to look at the push-pull system, because when we talk about push-pull, what is push-pull? The nucleus farmer and grower system. I remember when in the Prof's submission, he made mention of fertilizer and tractors that were hijacked by some politicians. It's simply because the target has always been the smaller holder farmers, so they are able to outwit them. We also have the associations. I mean, we have FBOs that are established and are working well. Yeah. So are we able to tie most of these programs, the policies, to the FBOs and also the nucleus farmers? Because for me, if I walk to the bank, if a nucleus farmer walk to the bank wanting to maybe borrow $1 million, it will be difficult for the smaller holder farmer to get it. That, yeah. But William here will look into my case and say, look, I'm going to give you the $1 million. But the whole essence is for me to be able to raise the level of the smaller holder farmers, who constitute about 80% of our farming or production population. So in that case, whatever you give to the smaller holder farmers, you're able to get it. I have been talking about MasterCard Foundation, and anytime the banks ask me, come for money, I say, are you able to give me $10 million? And the answer here is no, because they want to give you something small. But the essence of me getting $10 million is, if I have a contract with Guinness to supply sorghum and maize, I can't do it all, even though I have farms at Chuchuga, Navrogo, and so many. I can't, Chuchuga, Dabuya, and so many. I can't do it all. So what I need to do to be able to tie into the smaller holder farmers, to be able to, I call it in-grower, not out-grower. So for instance, if I have 20,000 acres land, I'm able to deploy my tractors to, or my, when we talk about mechanization, I agree 100% with Prof. Mechanization is not just about tractor. It's a whole lot, irrigation and a whole lot. So I'm able to deploy all those things so that in that case, in the beginning, I lower my risk, because once I do all this for them, I get vibrant seeds for them to plant. I know that the output is going to be great, and I'm going to offtake their produce. So I think the current issue of always say, look, I have fertilizer, I want to give it to the smaller holder farmer. When you ended up getting the fertilizer landing in Burkina Faso, it's not working because it's a smaller holder farmers. I think it's about time we do proper PPP, where we bring in the private sector as a nucleus farmer and say, look, there's FBO here, membership for about 200 members, smallholder farmers. I'm giving you X money, X tractors and other things. I want you to service them and offtake their produce. In any case, what they need is to be able to produce for somebody to offtake. So once there's a guarantee for them to offtake agreement between you and the smallholder farmer, they'll be more than ready to produce it. Yes. So I think that the model is we need to look into it. Years back, I remember when the first NDC in power, I buy fertilizer from chemical at the time. Now I import my own fertilizers. And I went to chemical, and they gave me a blended fertilizer at the time for 80 cedis. Whereas the subsidy program is going for 120 for a blanket fertilizer. So I went back and said, oh, no, something should be done about it, because if they can blend my whole fertilizer, put in all the things I need for 80 cedis, why are my colleagues selling fertilizer for 120? So these are some of the things. I think that the target, the model we are using is not working. If the target is going to be, I'm not saying the target should be the smallholder farmers, but let's route it through the nucleus farmers, and it will be good to go.
All right. Thank you, Davis. Prof.
I have two issues I will talk on. In fact, one is yes. One, in fact, I'm happy Honorable is here. I would like this targeted at you, the politicians. One is the way the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in the district level now doesn't exist. They now call it Department of Agriculture, and it has been subsumed by the local government ministry. And you and I know the local government ministry is one of the debilitating ministries. Hardly nothing works there. It's a difficult area to navigate. And you are putting a key area like agriculture under it in a way that virtually they are helpless. They are just orphans. When you talk, they tell you that it's decentralized. What kind of chauvinist? What is decentralization? You just gave them up, and you know, local government, they just grab it hands. When even vehicles are sent, the DCEs and coordinators, they seize the vehicles. As they use them as backup vehicles. They send money to them. They want to pick their money. You go, they are asking you, accountants and coordinators are asking you to give part of the money to them. They think the people are picking the money, but it's for work. So the way that Parliament decentralized the Ministry of Food and Agri is flawed. You have to really look at it and treat it just like the Ministry of Health and Ghana Education. They are also decentralized. But no DCE or coordinating director dare go and say a district director or Ghana Education Service or Ghana Health to collect the vehicle. You dare not. Because the decentralization still makes them to report to their mother institutions. Now they are even not being trained. But Minister of Food and Agriculture, you should train them. What is a local government person who will be talking with, you have chiefs there, even as the name implies, rural development. What rural development are you going to train these people in? So that is an area they need to retweak it. Unfortunately, it appears in Ghana when policies are made, it's like a Bible or a Quran. Nobody goes back to it to check. They just leave it. You should review policies. And policies that are redundant, you kick them away. And some you can change, some you throw away. Number two, we also do not have a Ghana Agricultural Service. And by all standards, we should have a Ghana Agricultural Service, just like the Ministry of Food, the Ministry of Health, and then Ghana Education Service. When you go to them, the service is full of crack technocrats who run them without any political interference. Whereas the ministry handles policy issues, the bureaucrats, they will be there and allow the technical people to work. I remember when the late Karikwasiga was the Agri minister and did so well, and President Kufuor moved him to health. I remember when he went there, there was this brand new, sophisticated Land Cruiser which was purchased under a project for the Director General of Ghana Health Service. When Kwasika tried to hijack the car, Professor Kosa told him, you dare not, well, that is for a project. He fought and got his car back. But a Minister of Agri, you can't get that. So we should try to create, Honorable, I hope we need to create a Ghana Agricultural Service that will have purely technical issues to handle with. And lastly, but not the least, we also will need you. Ghanaian farmers need to come together. We have Ghana Association of Ghana National Farmers Association, which could take off from regional, district up to national. You have it? Now. Okay, so in that case. So like you said, they can dictate the pace of, like you said, the fertilizer and others. So I haven't seen much about it. So if you people can be very active, it will help. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me bring in Mr. Nete on still on policies that we need to review, tweak, and all that. In terms of the funding area, you have dealt with a lot of farms across the country, understood what they need and all that. There's a worry that sometimes, in terms of policy, the funding lead we are going through is not even right. We are getting it wrong with the funding. The products we are offering are not tailor-made for the people in the industry. So we've set up decks to help farmers and all that, yet it doesn't fit into what they're doing. And even the industry, the banking industry, doesn't even understand the sector and all that. From where you sit, you think some of these issues that are being raised are what they are, and if they are not, or if they are, how we can deal with them?
All right, thank you very much, Vivian, and good morning. Today I want to focus on telling stories. And as the ABSA branded logo shows, your story matters. I think that when Doc started and was progressing, he talked about John. Why did he talk about John? Because John has a story, and that story could be told. And I think that is what we are looking at. What is your story? Can someone tell your story? And so for us, I call myself an agriculturist because I've been in that space for all this while. We have to start from somewhere. Davis mentioned, and someone also mentioned that you have to start small. You have to start at a point. So let's start. The ag space gets tricky because we deal with life forms. You can have all dying at a time, and so anybody looking at it will look at it, especially from the finance point, will look at risk involved, and that is fair. I can't close my eyes and say that there are no risk involved in agriculture. It's just like construction. You build a block, you put it on, the building is there, you have roofed it, it's fine. No. These are life forms. Tomorrow, what John had, 50,000, and I've given him money to fund that. Then the next time he goes, 25,000 of them is dead. Then the next time, the other 25,000 is dead. How do I account to those who brought me the money to lend? So it is important that we look at these issues, okay? There's the notion out there that banks don't understand Agri. Banks sit in the comfort of their offices and, write papers, and yes, to some extent. But if you are aware, now banks are not doing that. Banks are beginning to learn. All banks are working with, institutions that would support them. We work with associations, we work with government, we work with institutions like GESAL that provides training to financial institutions. So you find all along the chain in the banking sector or in the banking institution, from what we call sanctioners. We call them sanctioners because they are the approvers of loans, and then the committee, even board members, relationship managers. We are all being trained to be able to understand all these nuances in the agri space. So not always true that the bank don't understand. Yes, we need to do a bit, need to go out there and meet and look at the projects. When we've gained this understanding, we also go on to discuss projects. So when you come to me with a project, like David said, when it comes for $1 million, I may give him. When it comes for $10 million, I may not give him. Why won't I give him? I will not give him because the project that you are seeking to do, when I assess it, it will not be at that level. You are running a business, you do turnover. The turnover is like, let's say, $1 million. That means that the whole year, the money that comes through the business is $1 million. Then you come to me, oh, Alfred, when they went to Food Logistica, they came back with some big contract. They said, oh, we are buying, we have the market for this volumes. I can produce, and what is there to show? There's nothing. So we, as people within the space, have to learn to pace ourselves, have to learn ourselves, because it's not only the bank that has to go and learn about agri. You also have to understand the agri space. And sometimes we find it difficult to understand what goes on in the financial institution. So you think that, oh, this thing that I need, go to the financial institution, they will not give me. I was sitting by John, and I was telling him, I wanted to finance you, you said you won't take. He said, yes, I won't take. You people take so much time. And I'm sure people are here, and I'll finance the number of people here, and they can say that, yes, sometimes it takes time, but we do it eventually. My famous people, sometimes we fight. They will call me, insult me as many times. My RM is, was sitting here. They will insult you so many times, but we'll go on, we'll try and fix it, put it together, and it's all done. So we can do it. Now, let me just add that on the policy issue, I went into the bank about 6 years ago from industry. And when I went, I said, look, the bank has to reduce interest rates because it's not feasible for us to borrow, or agriculture to borrow at that rate. So we started looking. The bank can do that on its own. We got partners. MasterCard Foundation came in. They provide some support. We got, eventually, interest rates were going up. We couldn't lend. We said, no, we are the first doing this thing. We can't lend again. So let's talk about reducing interest rates. Then they said, okay, bring it on, because previously they were averse to it. Then we talked to them. They said, okay, you can lend at 10%, and we take the rest. And they are funding the difference. And that is why we and other banks are able to lend, at the rate we are lending at. I want to state again that the funds that government take, and, funds that they can pull from other institutions, can be made available to financial institutions. Using some of these models, be able to lend. We've lent over 600 million cedis, $600 million over the past 4 or 5 years.
To Ghanaian farmers.
To Ghanaian, not farmers. The value chain.
The value chain.
The value chain as a whole. And we target women, we target youth, and it's going on. And the NPLs, what you call non-performing, or the delinquencies, it's very low. So we can do that and do it very well. Thank you.
Right. I'm happy you are saying the NPLs are low, because people worry that the agri sector is too risky to put in money, especially for the banks and all that. Challenges and opportunities in terms of financing. Davis, your thoughts, and then Mavis, you answer that question as well.
Okay, so thank you very much. And let me also agree with most of the things he said. And, so for the rest of the world, the toxic nature of, how do you call it, the agrarian housing sector defaulting loans now is very low. And so we need to be in the known. But for me, I have one big problem. And I've been saying it, I don't blame the banks, because the banks are taking care of you and I's money. So, but then we have a bank like Agricultural Development Bank, which was initiated to support Agri, but they are doing commerce. So for me, the big question I ask is, government, they are the biggest shares in Agricultural Development Bank. So what prevent government from recycling their dividend into agriculture? I ask this question every now and then. Look, 2018, I think I did your Operation Feed Yourself program.
Right.
And I got a lot of people calling me. People went into Agri direct. I said, seek for the market before you produce. It's not because everybody is doing tomatoes. So because they said tomatoes, we are importing 400 million a year, so you want to go into tomato. Do you know the issues in tomato? That is one thing. And do you have a buyer for tomato? These are some of the things. I led a group of people to, I brought in these buyers from England. They called them MWW. So when we came, at the time, Ezim was Edive. And so they wanted to buy mangoes from us. And at the same time, Edif was doing the mango project in the north. So we went around the north, and that was the more reason why I moved to the north, because I realized that when you talk about land and water, they have it, and the human resource as well. And for me, the sunshine is also good for most of the things I do.
Too hot then?
No, not for horticulture produce.
Okay, so it's good for your product.
Exactly. Okay. So when we got there, they realized that, look, let's do butternut squash. So I introduced butternut squash in commercial quantity in this country. Okay. We are moving a lot of to the vessel, about 20 containers almost every week. Through Tema to MW. But then they decided that they want to take the whole board of Edif to Brazil. So we went with them. When we got to a particular farm, Harish is one of our biggest competitors. So they asked him a question. After the nicest things he said, then they asked him, do you have any problem? Then all of a sudden, he sold them in a chain. Then he said, I have two big problems. So Mr. Tony Oti, Jesse, and Cody were all part of the board. So they asked him a question. What are the problems? He said, in Brazil, if you want loan to do anything in Agri, it take you 2 good weeks. And I said, which one? Which of the weeks? He said, 2 good weeks. Then for him, the 2 good weeks is already 14 days. It's 10 days. I said, hold it there. I mean, Dr. Oti, Jesse said, David Sonto. And he said they give you the loan as high as 5%. And if government wants to subsidize, government won't subsidize a loan more than 50%. I said, hold it. In my country, it's 30-something%. Yeah. It will take you 2 years.
2 years.
To get the loan.
Yeah.
You understand me? So for me, I think that we have to be intentional. And these are the people we exit with.
Yeah.
So when he realized that Davis was cutting Weblink, he was shocked because he knew that I compete on the same market with him. So if I'm talking about 30-something% and I'm not getting the government doesn't even subsidize anything. Why am I competing? It's because I have the passion. And I'm dedicated to what I want to do. Because I've seen money somewhere, I need to find means to tap it. So I think that, for me, the best we can do to save the agri sector, when I talk about agri sector, is the entire value chain, is to be able to learn a single-digit interest rate. If we do that, I tell you what, if we do single-digit interest rate,
what would be ideal? 5, 4?
5 is not good. I think that when they give it to us, even at
9%. Realistically, 9.
Yes. Because last week at the Hot Expo, I spoke about the banks. I said the banks will change this mentality, this vault mentality, and grow with the people. Because the thing is, if you ask me to go, even at 30-something%, you ask me to go and bring my grandfather's death certificate. When am I going to get it? Do I even know my grandfather? These are some of the things. Because they are not interested in, because we can do green, organic collateral, where you use the same produce as your collateral. But the banks are talking about landed property.
Assets.
How many producers will have landed properties? These are some of the things. I mean, Dr. Kamasa sits here. And Dr. Kamasa and everybody have CEO. He is supplying to Tesco. And the orders, he can show you, yes, for sweet potatoes. And the orders, they are talking over 100 containers a week, not even a month.
Wow.
Of sweet potatoes. 100 containers a week, not even a month. So the only way he can do is to maybe look at the other alternative way of producing it through other smaller holder farmers. But does he have the funding to be able to work on that? The answer here is no. He has an order. So this is where I depart from what he's saying. He has the order. He at least There's a grain collateral. That's the produce itself.
Yeah.
So why don't you use it?
Yeah.
And like I said, I won't blame them because they are also taking care of you and I's money.
Yeah.
But then it is about time the banks in China change their vault mentality and grow with people. It's important.
Thank you very much, Davis. Well, we'll come to you, William, at a point on the 9%, and then we'll also speak to the other people in the industry here. I see my very good friend, Professor, to also pick his mind around the 9%. But Mavis, your thoughts, challenges, opportunities, and funding for this industry?
Well, obviously, we know that women dominate the agricultural value chain in terms of production, processing, marketing, and all of that. And data or research shows or tells us that women are less likely to default on loans. Yeah. So definitely we should be paying more attention to women if they come for these loans. And we all know in Ghana, if you're asking for collaterals like buildings and land, how many women, even if they are as a family, they have land or, property, how many of them have their names on those, So a good model, like my senior brother said, is looking at what they're producing as a form of collateral. But then again, also finding ways, since, like I said, they are less likely to default, a bit of more trust in, giving women loans to be able to do whatever they need to do. For the clients that I work with, for instance, one of the main challenges is funding of equipment, for their processing. And they're doing so much. Like, people have so many great ideas. People are trying. We're all encouraging, the young women and all go into agribusiness, go into value addition, because after all, that is the way to go. We all know that. High post-harvest losses. And so processing is the way to go. But the challenge is with acquiring equipment for the kind of processing that will give them quality, will give them high, outputs, and make their businesses sustainable. So I feel like banks should also look into that. There should be some public-private partnerships with helping with procurement of equipment, okay, where you are doing the direct procurement for businesses to use. And then also, as I said in my first submission, partnering, again, to set up innovation and incubation hubs where we have equipment that people can come use, pay a fee. Let it be run by a private-public, partnership, so that it's not at the mercy of, going defunct or not being well catered for, where people can pay something and have equipment that they can use to, manufacture their produce, and also have a way of, running their businesses. So that's where I feel the funding should be tailored towards, to make it very easy for agribusinesses to also survive in the ecosystem.
All right, thank you, Prof. Your thoughts on the funding bit, then we move to infrastructure. Your microphone.
With what you said, women are really, really very reliable, because we've run programs in the Upper East region, and in fact we could get as high as 95 plus women who always will pay up under an international fund for agricultural development, IFAD. But for men, it's a tricky issue. Yeah, for men, honestly. But sometimes the money they go and rather marry more. So
well,
it can
aren't we glad it's a man? Saying that?
Yeah, it's a debilitating. Yeah. I'm a royal, so I know what I'm talking of. When a northerner is becoming successful, one of the most important things is you also have to add someone. But I won't argue with anyone anyway. But that is an issue. Using what I call inventory credit system, to me, is one of the best modules. When we use inventory, it helped us to improve upon defaults by the men in particular. Because if a man sees who have never held 1,000 Ghana cedis cash, You go there as an NGO or a bank, you don't even know the person properly, and the banks will just go and heap, say, 10,000 Ghana cedis to the person. So the person picks the money. At the end of the season, he comes to tell you that he never cultivated or he had challenges. Meanwhile, you didn't do, due process well. But if I've given inventory credit, you will monitor. For example, plowing. The fields can be plowed for the farmer. Planting, buying seeds. A fertilizer application. You sit in the office, you don't know whether the person is farming in the moon or is farming in Chichuluga. And then after the season, then you go and you are looking for the money. It means something, your head is not working. You can't pick people's money and throw it away that way. So I understand, I agree with you. So we need to monitor. I recall Barclays Bank used to do that very well. They had these project officers. They were BSc trained agriculturists and they were always in the field checking. These days, the average banker doesn't have time to go to the field. And people's money are given out. So if at the end you don't get it, it's a bad loan. And I'm also told GTZ tried in Upper West region, my home region, what it does, insurance. Okay. They will insure against challenges. When people say agriculture is risky, I just laugh. Even eating is risky. Oh, they are laughing. You see, you can get choked and die through eating. Number two, aviation. You all saw what happened in India, a couple of... It happens. Even with America, almost every 2-3 months, there are serious crashes in there with the smaller Cessna aircraft. So if there is an enterprise that is even more risky, it is the air system. Right. But when you are lucky, Jehovah helps you and you go and land safely, you say you are good. One day will come, something can happen, and you can't salvage it. So we should de-emphasize agriculture is risky. Everything is risky. It's how you manage the risk. And in this scientific world, we can manage risk. The economists have been modeling risk management. Oh yes, we do that scientifically so that you can minimize risk significantly. Thank you. All right.
Let me bring in Professor Eric Osasibe is the head of economics and research at the Development Bank of Ghana. They, I know, are enablers in terms of the funding, and as the issue is coming up in terms of the interest rate and the targeting and all that, can you please help me with the microphones? Prof, how do we deal with it? Davis believes we should be looking at 9%, which all of us in the room agree with. This 30%, even if you are not lucky, 40% and all that, you are in the center of it all. William says it's people's money, so we have to be careful. And there's a reality of it, the risk. How do we move to the 9% and make it easy for all those in the industry to tap into the funding?
Thank you very much, and good morning to you all. Yeah, 9%, I'm not too sure about that.
Not anytime soon.
Whether that is plausible, not anytime soon, I presume. But because it has to do with the cost of funding, right? The cost of funding, you not get cost of funding at 9%. And banks are in business to make profit, right? So to the minimum, they want to make some spreads, on whatever they give. But by and large, Prof just mentioned that agriculture is not as risky as we talk about, as we say. Yes, to some extent it's true, but to a larger extent it's yes. It's still very risky. We heard what Dumelo just mentioned. If you look at the data, sectorial distribution of NPLs, 2023, agriculture contributed about 52% to NPLs in Ghana. It has come down 2024 to about 38%. It's risky. So how do we, banks definitely will take the risk premium price. They will price that in. how do we de-risk the sector? Yeah. For me, that is the most important thing. Yeah. If we want to scale up credit to the sector, we have to begin to talk about de-risking the sector. Because if the risk is low, pricing will be low to a large extent. But if risk is high, they'll price that in, and so the interest rates will go up. So we're looking at the entire value chain, de-risking the sector, from the production to the distribution. Production, what are the key issues? Yield. Yield productivity is low. Yield per acre in Ghana is very low. And yield is a fair thing because your revenue depends on your yield. Yeah. And so if your yield is low, you're not going to make enough margin to be able to repay your loans. So we have to tackle that. That's a fair thing. We're talking about the post-harvest management. I didn't hear Prof talk so much about that. I think it's key. Post-harvest losses is critical. It's very high, about 20 to 30%, conservatively. Yes. So we need to look at warehouses, silos, and others. But these are very much public good. You have to make it private sector, led, so that we can maintain it to a level that, farmers can benefit and the private sector too can benefit. We are now talking about warehouse receipt system, where we can use the produce to serve as collateral, to be able to access loan. We have to make sure that we roll out such a program. At DBG, where I'm coming from, we started talking with GCS to roll out this warehouse receipt system and all of that. And we have also taken the initiative. I'm surprised William did not talk about DBG, what we are doing with APSA. Okay, great. So we also lending at a very highly subsidized rate, 500 basis points below the market, to try to ensure that we broaden access to credit for agricultural sector. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Prof, I'll let you respond. Let's Davis respond, then I come to you. And I believe William too wants to respond.
Let me quickly react to Prof's 52%. I think, Prof, you're also aware that 52% is not coming from just one box. It's across board. And the same 52%, I can tell you on authority, I've also researched into it, over 90% were political loans. So I will sit here as a chairman of the award winners and say that, look, Agri is risky because the 52%, over 90% is the political loan. So let's get it straight. The 52% is the political loan. So it means that our agribusiness sector are trying as much as they can to de-risk. Now, going back to what you said, I think that there should be a special purpose vehicle for agriculture. And I've said it over and over. So, for instance, the current base rate is about 28%. If we want to be intentional as a country, we need to be able to say, look, the banks for agribusiness, the base rate over there will be so much percent, so lend against it. And we'll give you some incentives against that. If we do that, then that will see, because currently we have GESA. We have GESA de-risking up to 70%. So I don't think that there should be an issue of us coming back here and talking about agriculture being risky. And also work with the associations. Look, I wouldn't want to mention a bank, but I was called to an MD's office. I was there when his people came. Oh, sir, we've gone to the place. Oh, the place is huge. We drove all the way, 30 minutes and a whole lot. And I said, oh, how many acres? 1,000 acres. I said, please, do you know the 1,000 acres length? The 1,000 acres length. It's from so and so to so and so. And if I'm telling you, even without traffic, you can't even drive 10 minutes. Ask the person to send their PIN. When they send the PIN, we check it. So once it's 2 acres. So I told Andy, I said, you see, I've done due diligence for you, so that is why you are supposed to work with me. I'm a practical agribusiness person. You understand me? So these are some of the things I think that we should be looking at. Like, let's work with us. I'm happy the likes of AFSA and Co. are working with associations. And that's the more reason why maybe they are able to give out some loans. So I think that this is what we have to look at. As DBG, I think that I was expecting to say, look, it is possible we do 9% because there should be a special purpose vehicle for us, because the 28% base rate, we'll go and talk about it and reduce the base rate for agribusiness, and we'll lend at so much percent to the banks for them to only lend to us at 9%. These are some of the things I want to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know Exim is here. William, I'll come to you. I know Exim is here and William is around. If I can pick the thoughts on Exim as well, on the figures that are going around. Okay, I'll come back to him when he steps in. But William, you want to respond to Davis?
All right. So let me. Today I want to direct my. I just want to go back to Doc and say that we lend to women, and it's a fact. It's a known fact that when you lend to women, you are safer. I've lent to women, and when they are in difficulty, they tell me stories, but eventually they'll settle me. I've lent to a few men, and when it's difficult, they vanish. You can't find them, and they are stronger. So yes, but we lend to women. Over the past 5 years that I've talking about, over $130 million have gone to women. Women-led businesses, people who are supporting women. So like David said, I may not be able to go to Tumu, where I used to work before, to go and lend to them at those places. But I can work with someone in that area. I'm talking to the young man who was, mentioned from Tumu. I have other clients all over from North, in Upper West, Upper East. So we can learn to, and this is what we need to do, that we get stronger and bigger businesses. I think that we should try gradually and move away from the smallholder, everyday smallholder. I have seen people move and they've come to us and we've given them 90,000. As of now, 2-3 years on, they're at 1 million. He started with selling eggs. Just go and pick eggs, go and give. Pick, go and give. Then he came. What can you do for me? 90,000. That's all I can do for you. He said, fine, I'll take it. He took it, did what he wanted to do. Now he's at 1 million. And he's not even going to pick eggs and just going, but he's processing. So there are stories. We want to know your story. Start small. Let's go. But when you become bigger, we are also there. We talk to the big guys. We support the input dealers. We support and let me go back to what Prof was saying, that we work with DBG and we are looking for partners, whether government, whether NGOs. I used to work with USAID, so going to USAID to seek for support is not a difficult one. So we were talking to everybody that can come and we work together. And that is what it should be, that we are all working together. And I want to challenge the youth in here and outside there watching that there's opportunity. There is great opportunity. There are challenges. We deal with life forms, they can die, but there's opportunity. Let's go, let's learn, let's take the opportunity, and we'll make it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's look at infrastructure and market access. Infrastructure is a big problem for most of the people in the industry. Let me start with you, Mavis. Infrastructure, where should government be looking at to start with to deal with infrastructure?
I think I'll go back to what people know me for, promoting convenient technologies. Very practical technologies within communities where products are produced or produce are produced. Infrastructure is key, like you said. Even accessing farms is a challenge, right? Feeder roads. And I remember sitting in a program where a minister of agriculture was talking about putting up roads in communities where, so if you sign up to produce crops on a certain acreage, they would get the roads to you. And I'm thinking, we already have people doing it. And they're having challenges with their roads. Why not start with that? So we know where the roads are terrible. We know where the productions are going on. Infrastructure should include road access, even before we talk about setting up. Funding, like we said, should also be tailored towards procuring equipment, specifically at levels where they can be appreciated and be more successful in terms of how they are used or put to use. So for me, it's very critical. Convenient technologies And let's start one step at a time. Let's not try and do everything, at a go. For instance, we can concentrate, let's say we want to talk about Northern Ghana. What are the products that are produced there? The cereals, the yams, What are the technologies that they would need to produce things like yam flour, other value-added products that people can run businesses on? And let's tailor it to their needs, community-based facilities that can serve the people at a very, very, very practical level. Okay, I think that would be very helpful. We all know about the defunct Pualugu tomato factory. Over the years, we revamp, it shuts, we revamp, it shuts, and it's still sitting there. Yet, farmers within that community who produce tomatoes are losing product day in, day out. What about convenient technologies for them? Drying, solar drying technologies, processing technologies, that would help them make tomato products like paste, sauces, but at a scale where they can manage. Okay, we know the challenges that have to do with these huge setups. So let's be very practical. We know, and let's focus on making things work, at a level that we can accommodate and gradually scaling up. If we have all these centers dotted around and encouraging them to make use of these facilities, I think it would all add up to, the bigger picture where we can say proudly that these technologies are really helping to improve post-harvest losses or management of agricultural produce. I would like to talk about, I'm a food scientist, so permit me to talk about technologies as well. There's AquaFresh technology where they're using, it's a sustainable technology for cold storage of agricultural produce that have been set up by a young man called Matthias in Ashanti region. It's off the grid, but farmers are able to store their produce in there at a small fee. So whilst they're looking for markets, you don't, and nothing special, carry your crates of tomatoes, go put it in there, pay a little fee, and then when you're ready, you have an off-taker. You come take it off. And it is a very simple technology. This young man has won international awards. As one of the mentors, we promoted him everywhere. But here in Ghana, it's like nobody knows about this technology, or it's not as popular as it is. Yet we are crying about storage and providing cold storage for post-harvest management of agricultural produce. So let's be very practical. We have the solutions in here. Let's take a look at the technologies that we have. If they are not working, make it tailor it to meet specific needs of these smallholder farmers. And I think that would be helpful in the long run.
Thank you, Mavis. I'll bring in the associations because I think infrastructure, there's a lot they'll want to talk about. But I also want to prompt Cocoa Board. I have Cocoa Board here. I have the Acting Director for Research, Monitoring and Evaluation. And I want to bring him in. That's Dr. Isaac Meno in a bit, because we all know that Cocoa Board had this policy of trying to do the roads to get the produce from the interlands to the ports and all that. And we all know what has come out of that policy. So I'll pick his thoughts on that and the way forward. But before I do that, let me come to the associations. I know I have the poultry, I have rice, I have aquaculture and all that. We can start with you, gentlemen. Your thoughts in terms of infrastructure. You are in there. How do we deal with our infrastructural challenges? Doc, the roads, you started the roads, you had to put it on hold and all that because of the challenges. What's the way forward with that?
Thank you. I think the intention of the cocoa rules was to reduce the cost of transportation, because we usually pay for a bad road factor when it comes to transporting the cocoa from the districts to the takeover centers. So to make the rules more motorable and reduce the cost of transportation, we decided to embark in the cocoa rules improvement project. However, at a certain point in time, the focus of the then management shifted from the core function of purchasing cocoa on behalf of government just to cocoa rules, which has led to quite some substantial debt levels. I think management is working hard to rationalize those debts for cocoa board to move to the path of prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come back to you at a point, but let me take some of the associations on their thoughts on, I'll start with the gentleman here, on their thoughts on the infrastructure issues.
Yeah.
Please identify yourself when you...
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Dankwakisi. I'm the managing director of Kidan Mills Limited. Yes, on the Kidan is located at Tumu in the Upper West region. We've been in existence for the past 15 years. Yes, doing agribusiness and agri stuff. So we are within the agribusiness space. On the infrastructure, this is very critical to agricultural development, because if we are supposed to develop our agricultural space, we need to work on our roads. For instance, when you go to where our factory is located in Tumu, if you know that terrain, from Chuchulga to Tumu is terrible. From Tumu to Wa is terrible. There's only a portion that is done, but almost 90% of it is terrible. So if there's a factory there, we have off-takers who are multinationals that we manufacture products for. How are we able to get goods to them in real time? This is a very big challenge that I wish the Honorable Minister was here so that he will hear this and be able to take it on board and ensure that at least those roads are worked on, because if we are to make progress, the roads are going to be able to help us to make that progress. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So the Tumu road thing has been a problem for years. I've always said, since I was a business reporter, which was years ago, Tumu always pops up in the budget, but it's never done. I don't know what's going on there. So I'll throw that question to, I can see Haruna. Haruna, don't look somewhere, look here. I see Haruna, MPP, and then Honorable MP for Keta is here. At a point, I'll let them, don't worry, I'll let them answer that at a point. But let me take the other associations on infrastructure.
Okay, I'm Abdul Hakim Isa, representing Ghana Soybean Farmers and Aggregators Association. Well, in the last regime, we saw a number of warehouses being put up across a number of communities. Right. But up to date, those warehouses are just empty. And upon that, we heard the then minister talking about bringing in silos. Warehouses were put across. Without production, we were not supporting production, we were not producing more, but we were putting up more warehouses. As if that wasn't enough, we were planning of adding additional silos. To do what? When we were not producing enough. So that is what I can see in terms of infrastructure.
Okay, let me bring in our good friends, the politicians. I'll start with, please bring the microphone. Honorable Kwame, he's an MP for Keta. He's also the vice chairman for the Food and Agri and Cocoa Affairs Committee of Parliament. Key issues have been brought up: funding, policy, infrastructure. Now, you are one of the key people in Parliament to get the laws right, the policies right, to deal with some of these challenges. Take us through some of the things you are doing to address some of these issues that have been raised by our guests.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. I would like to use the opportunity to thank Channel 1 TV as well as City TV for organizing this event. Thank you very much. A lot of issues have been raised here. They are very genuine issues which need urgent attention of government to take up. In view of that, there are a couple of issues I want to also bring on board. Communication between the academia and Parliament. Research to implementation. This is a gap. If you are a researcher, you are doing good things. People are doing good things, we are hearing them. This is the first time hearing some of them. We, as a representative of the people, we are not involved from the beginning. How do you advocate? This is the area we also need to actually go. A lot of researches have been done, we are not aware about it. So how do you advocate? So it's not on our part. Those who are doing the research, the academia, as well as those who are doing the implementation, need to involve the members of Parliament as a whole, to actually advocate for their needs. In terms of road, this year the Agribusiness, the government is committed in actually reshaping some of the agricultural road, especially where we have the drip machines. Allocation is being made for every district assembly, municipal assemblies to tackle agricultural road, because it's a very critical. When you say we are not producing a lot, I beg to differ. The reason why I beg to differ, post-harvest losses, we are not talking about it. We are not talking about post-harvest losses here. Because of the terrible rules, some of the farmers post-harvest losses is in the bush. So if the road I tackle, the silos they are talking about, the warehouses you are talking about will be there. But one of the critical areas I will look at is the food security issues. The buffer stock. We as matter of urgent, we need to work on buffer stock bills to reincorporate it, because as at now, the way it is, they are not storing. If, for God forbid, if anything happens in terms of emergency, today in Ghana, we have no food security. There's no food stock anywhere. We'll go hungry. If we are producing, it's not like we're not producing. You are producing and allowing neighboring country to harvest. That's what is happening. Ghana, there is ban on grain, but it's going out of the country. It's happening. Because one of the reasons we have identified is that because we are not able to support farmers financially. So the neighboring countries, those who are in the business, give them credit. So right from the beginning, the produce is not yours, because they have put their money into it. These are the areas we should be looking at. And one of the areas I keep on saying is that when you look at the value chain, it's an area we need as a country to actually invest a lot in the value chain, because value addition is the key. It will surprise you today, as at now, cocoa still. Even cocoa farmers, their children, some of them, if I tell you they haven't tasted chocolate before, you will not believe it. It's a fact. So what happened to our policy in terms of school children taking chocolate meals and all that? Even Ghana, today when you look at your timetable, you put what? Coffee break. Do you produce coffee enough apart from that? Why don't you put cocoa break over there? We don't consume these things ourselves. So we need to tackle this holistically. Our research institutions are not communicating to the policymakers, and they are not communicating to the investors also. Look at CSR. Last time I visited there, they have a lot of products. When you go to this Cocoa Research Institute in Tafo, and they do a lot of research. They produce soap, alcohol, non-alcoholic beverages, cake, a lot of products. But we are not commercializing those products. CSR produces, even you made jollof rice, which can last for 2 years. They have fried rice, which can last for 5 years. They are all sitting on the shelf. They produce a lot of products, lactose-free, peanut butter, so many products. But what are we commercializing? And why are we not commercializing our research products? And these are the areas I think as a parliament, we need, as a matter of urgency, to be intervening in those areas. But academia and research institutions are not communicating to parliament. That is where we are here. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Honorable Kwame. I'll come to you. Everybody will speak, but academia and research. We have CSIR here. We have the University of Ghana Business School, key lecturers here as well. I'll throw that question to them in the bit in terms of the marriage between policymakers and academia and research. But I have to pick the thoughts of the Poultry Farmers Association. They are here, so if we can pick their thoughts on some of the key issues, then we'll move to academia and research. If we can give the mic to them.
Okay.
Please.
My name is Kwame Ntim Diodu. I am coming from Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association. My Honorable Minister is here. Member of Parliament is here. So if the Deputy Minister is not available right now, the message will still be conveyed, I believe.
That's right.
We are a body of over 1,400 poultry farmers, male and female, young and old. Our communication to the government is we are ready, we are capable, together with other poultry farmer associations, of meeting the poultry need of the Ghanaian population from the poultry side. If we have the support I mean here is, our Honorable Minister was saying, because somebody asked that, why don't you ban or reduce importation of the dressed chicken to Ghana? He said that they will, for now, as a policy, allow trade
the import
narrations to fight and solve that. And we are at the loser end because over liberalization of imports led to the collapse of the poultry industry from the time our
So do you want an outright ban or a partial ban? Because you are producing only 5%. If you look at the statistics,
sure.
You are producing just 5%.
We are coming with a proposal for gradual reduction of importation and improving the local production.
Okay. Over a period of...
Over a period, maybe 5 years, we can set the target. If we look at the starting point, and we see the progress under monitoring, we can do that because they come with funding at interest rates of 2%, and we are here battling with 30% interest rates. So if you allow the trade to determine this, we are never going to outcompete the importers.
Right. So what are some of the things you need to make it easy for you to meet that target within the
We need the government to come in to provide some of the financial backing, not to give it the money, but to support us when we go to the banks for the facilities.
Okay.
We were, like you said, we cannot many a time meet the collaterals that the banks require for them to give us the loans. And that is where we go and we hit the wall. We come back. We cannot progress and make that meaningful impact. But if you should have the security from the government that, yes, we can support, we provide the support for these people, this association, we are easily identified, visibly located anytime, we will not run away. And we are ready. Some of us can increase our production by 10, 20 times. But we are not able because we are financially limited, and most especially the trade, the market.
Okay, so funding and then a partial ban. Let me bring in the coordinator for the Feed Ghana program at the Ministry of Agriculture. He's going to address some of your issues and tell us whether they are willing to do that and all that. Bright Edward Demoji, he had to come earlier, but because of other engagements, he came in late. I'll hit you first with the question or the requirement coming in from the poultry farmers. We earlier said that a realistic figure for the industry in terms of the fund will be 9%. The bankers disagree because they say that where they are coming from in terms of the money they are getting, it will be a difficult one. We are giving ourselves maybe 5 years to see whether we can do that. But the reality of the game is funding is a problem. The poultry farmers want you to do a gradual ban of importation. What is the policy for that? I think you should use Mavis's own, then we work on that.
Yes, I want to take the opportunity to apologize for the late coming. The municipal chief executives, and they are having a program, and I'm supposed to representation there as well. Yes, I think what the gentleman is saying is just in line with one of our policies under the Feed Ghana program, which we call the Poultry Revitalization Program.
Okay.
The focus is to support, for this year, we have selected about 50 major poultry farmers in this country to support them with 80,000 beds.
Are the association part of this? I'm not sure they are.
The National Association is involved.
Okay.
We have several meetings with the National Associations of Poultry Farmers. So we pick 50 people, and the 50 major poultry farmers, they are going to serve as an anchor farmers to support the small-scale poultry farmers. And the focus is also to support about 500 small-scale poultry farmers who are doing between 2,000 to 3,000 beds.
Okay.
So the plan is that by the end of this year, we should be able to get about 6 million beds across the country. That's the focus. And we are supporting them in terms of day-old chicks, in terms of feed, in terms of financial resources to be able to take care of those beds.
Okay.
So our focus, if you look at the statistics, about 400 million metric tons, and we are doing just about 3.5%. The statistics in terms of poultry production is very bad. So we want to change the narratives. That's why we are coming in with strict government support for those poultry farmers. And next year we'll upscale it to do about 70 of those key poultry farmers. So the focus is to quickly, if you want to reduce importation or lay complete ban on importation, it may not be the best thing to do, because if you look at the quantity or the numbers that we are producing, it is not enough to say you want to ban. So we are saying that if we are able to achieve our target, even the first year, we're talking about 80% achievement of the target that we set for ourselves. So maybe next year, we'll be talking about partial
ban on importation.
Yeah, partial restrictions. But let's not forget, we need the cooperations of all the stakeholders, because we've done these things before.
Yeah.
I think during the Professor Tamil's time, there was a policy for anybody who wants to import a poultry product to purchase 30% from our local poultry farmers.
Yes.
There are documents there to show that poultry farmers did not supply these things, but they have documents. The importers have documents confirming that the local poultry farmers supply to them. They will use those documents to import. So as a country, as people, when it comes to platforms to communicate and say all these things, we say it nicely.
Yeah.
But we ourselves are key stakeholders and people of this country.
Yeah.
Are we committed to that cause?
Yeah.
So yes, as policy people, as implementers of government policy, I think I will be happy to see a drastic reduction in importation. But we need, agriculture is a private business. We formulate a policy, we try to support, but the people who are supposed to produce this are local people. So when policies are formulated, I also apologize, I will plead with them to go along the policy, because the same thing applies to the rice sector. Currently, there is for those who are doing root and tubers, especially I'm talking about cassava. There's a program that anybody who is doing wheat flour should import or should be able to purchase just 5% of the cassava flour in this country. But we are not able to produce, to even match up with that one. So the issue for me is about production.
Yeah.
The issue is about production. That's why when you look at all our policy interventions in the Feed Ghana policy, our focus is to increase production first. And when we increase production, along the line, we can talk about financing. Financing, there are a lot of financial issues financial assistance in this agriculture sector. Currently, we have Agri Value Chain Fund working perfectly with farmers. The ADB is working in collaboration with the Agri Value Chain Fund to be able to support farmers. But our organizations, how we can organize ourselves to be able to take advantage of those nice government policy initiatives. So yes, solid, we have a comprehensive policy for the poultry sector. Okay. Our focus is to increase production almost by 80% by the end of this year so that we can change the narratives.
Okay. All right. Let me take some response from that.
I want to ask you, where are you picking your day-old chicks from? Where are you picking them from? Your akoko and kete, where are you picking them from?
Yes, you are talking about two things. The akoko and kete program is different from the farmer-to-table policy. The 80,000 birds I'm talking about is different from the akoko and kete. Akoko and kete is the last scale. We have 3 levels of poultry revitalization program. The first one is the farm-to-table. The second one is the small to medium scale support system. Okay. And the third one is the akoko and kete. Okay. And the akoko and kete is just to ignite interest on Ghanaians just to produce poultry. And so it's not basically on commercial. Okay. All we are doing is to give credits to household. Yes. So it's a form of household gardening where people will get from 20 to 30 beds to take care of. And if through that you have the interest, then you can go in and continue.
So, giving scenarios.
Yes.
The first you mentioned, where is the source coming from?
Yes, we have partners that are supplying us the
from where? In Ghana?
No, currently we don't have that kind of capacity.
So this is also the issue we have. So we are outsourcing money to outsiders. No Nigerian government will do that. Burkina will not do that. Senegal won't do that. Only Ghana will do that. Because it's very simple to tweak this. We can produce this day-old chicks. You see, when you go into panic mood like you are doing, this is what you get. Panic mood, fire brigade doesn't solve anything. It's not a rush. We can give ourselves a year. Build capacity. My colleagues at CSR Animal Research, this is nothing. Alhaji Akate and others, I know local people who you just need to go and support them. You don't need to go and be bringing this. This is the problem I have with Ministry of Food and Agriculture. They always keep uplifting Ghana monies out there. We were telling them for 8 years, I kept fighting Akoto, jump to brand. They won't listen to anybody. Why? And it's our monies. You are importing seeds. We are telling you won't listen. Is it your money? No, you see, no, we are doing wrong things in this country. That is why we are not moving forward. You move 1 step forward and 3 steps backwards. How can you move? Let us build local capacity. We have the capacity. I have worked in this for 31 years. Those your auditions, Paul Sammy, your chief, when he joined, it was a small, when he came in, we were already old in the system working. We know what will not work. No, I'm serious. So, and the second thing is, we should also be looking at, there is another nebulous policy which doesn't make sense. When I finished my PhD and was coming to Ghana, I came with an MF265 tractor. It was free. I didn't even pay demurrage because they say it's after 2 weeks. I came quickly and picked my tractor. In 2002, the Minister of Food and Agri came with some funny policy that instead of making agricultural equipment and this is for free, you have to apply to the minister. The minister haven't got time to be signing approvals of somebody brings old tractor. He has to come and apply. Those even how to get your application doesn't work. Why not go back to the basics and let it be agricultural machinery and equipment? It should be free. When they come, they inspect and the things pass in. And that will reduce significantly. Hear me again, significantly. The cost of fertilizer, the cost of tractors, the cost of combined harvest, and all those things. Rather, yes, product will be significantly reduced. Rather than some political farmers, they'll steal the fertilizer away and flood articulators and say that donkey carts were carrying. How many this bus can the donkey cart carry? What is the whole donkey population in Ghana? It's about 15,000. Now they have killed all of them. The minister will say it was fertilizer. Where are the donkeys even to cut that fertilizer?
Thank you. Let me bring in Davis. Don't worry, I'll take your questions. Don't worry. Davis. Yes, you are on. I'll allow you to react. Don't worry. Davis.
Let me also support Honorable Brian's assertion. I think for me, poultry is not about banning anything for now. It's about us implementing some of the laws. Because how do we motivate people to go into poultry? There's a policy, a law that says that the hotels, the restaurants should take certain percentage of their poultry products from the local, how do you call it, farmers. Are we implementing that? I think enforcing the law will give people like us the wherewithal to say, look, we want to invest in poultry. Because they're banning it for now. As it is now, we are producing just 5%. So how do you ban it? I think that it's about how we motivate, we implement the laws that will motivate people to do that. Then my second reaction to Honorable the Deputy
the
Chair,
ranking member, yes. Deputy Vice Chair for the Agri Committee, yes.
I think for me, he spoke about people smuggling maize and other things out. Yeah. I think for me, the banning is a non-starter. Because how many producers do we have in this country? Because if you come to me like a commercial farmer, where I go to Chuchuga and Daboya to produce thousands of acres, I produce with my own money, so I need to make good money. Because for me, I don't want chicken feed. If I see something is white, it should be white. It shouldn't be blue. So for me, I think that the banning is a non-starter. We should have done it in the other way, where people are giving incentives after because if you produce, if you're able to meet your yield. For instance, if you are saying maize yield is maybe 2 tons, 3 tons a hectare, are you able to get to maybe 80% of that yield? Then you'll be giving some sort of incentives. In that case, we have a lot of people producing to stay. But for you to tell me, the commercial farmer who will go to Nete here to go and take loan at 30-something% and produce, and you want me to, I will definitely smuggle it. You will find means to get it out. And these are some of the things I think policymakers should be aware of. It's not a matter of just sitting to take decisions. It's about you engaging the setup players to see where their problems are before you take decisions. So if we don't stop all these things, people will still be smuggling things out. Then there's nothing we can do. And for me, I think for the banning, it's a non-starter. They shouldn't have.
All right. Okay. Right, you want to respond? Then I'll take the response from the poultry farmers. Then we'll move to academia and research institutions. Then we'll come to the other institutions. I see a lot of hands. I'll take everybody's question. Right.
Yes, I'm very sure my old man is not responding to me because we took over from the ministry just about 3 months ago. So our policy interventions is now futuristic. It's futuristic, so it's talking to the wrong person for now. But you should judge me by the next 2-3 years. Okay. That's the first one. The second one is that, you see, we have realized that there's a gap between the academia and policy makers as well as investors. Yeah. So under the Feed Ghana policy program, we have developed a platform where the institutions will present all their research findings on quarterly basis. So we are calling on all the research institutions and universities to do a presentation for the people of Ghana to see. so that those who have resources can come in and invest. Because it's like most of our research institution universities are operating in the dark. So we are creating a platform. Currently, even our program is to ensure that during our Farmers' Day, research institutions will be awarded based on their current research findings and issues or findings that can easily be commercialized. So yes, I think as stakeholders in the agriculture sector, I think everybody will realize that there's a gap between research and implementation and the rare practical issues. So quickly, under the Feed Ghana program, one of our key objectives is to bring out the work of our researchers to fore, so that investors on daily basis who troop into this country and want to invest can invest, especially in the area of seed that is talking about, DO chicks that is talking about. If you move and you have meetings with the real practical people right now, and you ask them to bring their own money to buy their old chicks in Ghana, right now, you can see the number of them that will be ready to buy the day old chicks from Ghana.
Okay. Let me bring in the research institutions and see whether they agree with you.
So
I'll come to you.
The point I'm trying to make is that there are real practical issues. Yes, the research institution can say that we can produce it, we can do that, but there are real practical issues that the practitioners are grappling with.
Okay. Right.
So I think we are stakeholders in this room. And if you look at producers of day-old chicks, the market share in terms of the local producers of day-old chicks, hatches, and then those who brings in, and you look at the percentage, and those who build, because if the person is bringing in, there's no demand, you will not bring it again.
Okay. All right.
So it is the people of Ghana who are supposed to decide where we should go. Because it's a practical farmer.
Okay.
He's going to buy the day-old chicks with money. He's expecting a certain level of results. That's where we need to grapple in. So I agree with Doctor that yes, we have to move with a certain level of speed, but whilst considering that we need to also look at the real practical issues.
All right. Let me bring in the poultry farmer to quickly respond. Then I move to academia. CSIR, Director of Commercialization, Naomi Usu-Apia, will address the issue of the research. Whether doing your fairs, letting them, or putting in place a system where they come and do a presentation before we see that we can help. Because I know that some of the things they've done for years, Mavis is here, they've done so many research, it's on the shelves. And we know that, do they need to do a presentation before we help them? She will address that. But quickly, poultry farmers, your final thoughts on, they will do a partial ban within a period of 4 or 5 years. And then they've given you opportunities to also scale up, whether that works.
Okay. Honorable, I heard you mention about anchor farming system, and we know that it's not a bad idea, but it started some time ago and it didn't work fully. We are an identified groups of poultry farmers for my side, even Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association. We are 46 years in existence. 46 years. We are physically located, traceable, located within Accra, Sakaman. We haven't had the opportunity to meet government officials, to dialogue the way you are communicating to us right now. You can trace it. And we can get these anchor farmers from within a membership capacity of numbers of over 1,400. So please, we are available. Maybe we'll pick your contact, we'll come to you, and we can talk about this more. And again, my sister is here also representing the women's side of poultry farming. So when you come to groups like that, you are sure to get results that you want. You may have a good policy, but identifying the people to implement your policy can be where the failure starts or coming from. Because traceability, monitoring. My colleague here have developed a system, a software that traces, even locates where your farm is. your capacity, the best that you have.
Okay.
So if you implement a policy like go for 30% of local birds or chicken, get 70% from outside, anybody at all pretending to be a farmer can give you a certificate or something, just to make you meet your demand. When the person is not a rare poultry farmer, we are rare poultry farmers. We can be located, traced. So we are ready to meet you, to move forward. And then we wanted to hear or to see that if we really want to solve this problem, solving the protein need from poultry side in Ghana, then we wanted to see some actions. For instance, the cost of drugs, the cost of feeding. Now, we haven't seen anything, any policy on reduction of import duty on poultry drugs. Okay. Sometimes you buy a 1 kilo drug and it costs over 1,500 Ghana cedis. It was and it's still the same here. When we want to have a change, these are some of the areas. We are depending mostly 85% of our maize needs from imports. And when they come, they tell us they can't reduce the price because they pay so much high duties at the port levels. So if you want to see a change, we want to see or hear the government mention some of these, I should say, things that we have slashed import duty on maize, soybean meal, poultry drugs by 50-70% to bring it so down to make it affordable. So doing, our products will be affordable and we can compete somehow with the importers and the foreign producers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me invite Naomi, CSIR, on her thoughts. The marriage between research, Naomi is here, and academia. Naomi. Everybody will have the opportunity to make their comments, so don't worry, bear with me. And I see a lot of questions from our viewers and listeners as well. I'll take them all, so please bear with us. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, and good day to everyone present. Kudos to your station for this unique opportunity. I'm a business person and a social scientist. But I already had my own contribution, so maybe after addressing this, if you kindly allow me to continue with my own contribution, very related to what we are discussing. CSI is not making too much noise. Okay, I will agree to a larger extent, but what I will say is that we've been making noise. Honestly speaking, the noise has not been loud enough. And that is why we now have this directorate. It was reactivated in January of this year. So henceforth, members of the public will see CSR making a lot of noise. And that is why we are even here today. Okay. Good. But Honorable, in the past, we made a good progress with government agencies, especially with MPs regarding our technologies. I personally was involved with a number of MPs who patronized technologies in snail farming, beekeeping, mushroom production, and the rest. So we are going to engage more with government agencies as well as the private sector. So the promise is that CSR will be seen more henceforth. Now, closely related to this, Honorable Dumelo made a comment. Unfortunately, it seems he's left. But I'm sure my response is going to benefit all of us. Good. His story regarding snail farming was a bit disheartening because CSR teaches snail farming, and we also farm snails. And so we have experience in snail farming. It's very frustrating to start a farm, and then you see your snails dying in large numbers. On the lighter note, I would have suggested that maybe Honorable should have invited his pastors, his colleagues, his friends to enjoy the snails instead of losing them. I'm sure he will have received more blessings. That's on the lighter note. But he also made a very good point that his advice is that when we are starting a farm or a venture, it is important to start small, relatively small. And that is a very good lesson we have learned. Also important is the fact that it is good we kind of get the right education, the right knowledge when it comes to a particular farming venture. And that is what CSR has been doing. So we also offer training sessions in all these technologies, in snail farming, in beekeeping, in fish farming, and the rest. And we are going to be present during the upcoming fair. We will personally visit Honorable. We don't want him to just abandon the project, not at all. Okay. Once the structures are there, he can definitely reactivate them. Okay. So, Madam and the audience, it is better late than never. Even though we're not making a lot of noise, henceforth, the noise will be heard loud and clear.
All right. Thank you, Naomi. Let me bring in Aruna Mohammed, the Deputy General Secretary of the MPP, policy-wise, where they stand. They try to do a lot of things.
Crowd goes absolutely emphatic. He has done it.
Get ready for more on Supersport, the only place to watch all the FIFA.
Look at the agriculture base. Like they said, if they say mechanization, it is not tractorization, it is about mechanization. We have to look at the entire value chain completely so that we will see the dependent factors. What are the inputs? Which one's output is an input to the other? So the LPP is very focused. And I think that the discussion is political, but it is very sensitive to the development of our agriculture in Ghana.
Thank you very much, Aruna. Let me take some of the farmer associations, because remember, it is because of them that we are here as well. I'll take some comments from the cocoa farmers, and then I'll move to the rice millers. So if we can move the microphone to the cocoa farmers. Where are they? Okay. The cocoa farmers, and then we'll move to the rice millers. And then I'll take other contributions and take questions from our viewers and listeners, and then we'll wrap up. Yes, sir. Please identify yourself and your association.
I'm number one, President of the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers.
Yes, please.
I'm also glad to meet you here. In fact, I'm very much happy about the professor's comments regarding to the researchers. When it comes to the cocoa sector, cocoa farmers, he said they have been a lot of, many researchers who have done a lot of research, like getting the workbooks. Cocoa farmers, we are so limited that what we do, well, cocoa board, we don't know as to whether it's practicing a 10-key project, is a regulator, and at the same time a marketer. When we produce our cocoa, we are now trying to say we should add value to our products. That is good. That is good. But at the end of the day, it looks like our products, we export all of them outside. Okay. And even if I decide to add value here, some of my products, I have to go to cocoa board, from my farm, I sell to cocoa board, and go there and buy it at a high cost before I can add value to it. How can this work? Okay. This is my first question. Okay. Okay, you only have to do the first question. I'll let Doc, do you want to respond to that? The value addition and rebuying from you, which you are marketing at the same time a regulator, is an issue that that it's bothering the cocoa farmers. So Doc is the acting director, research monitoring and evaluation at Cocoa Board. Dr. Isaac Menu, please, you have the floor.
Thank you. The question that you have described tells you the laws of the state, the policy, government, the profession, basis of the plan of the government. Cocoa Board is currently working with other stakeholders to review the Ghana Cocoa Board and all the states will be taken into consideration.
What duration should we give you? This has been running forever. Should we give you a year or two so that he knows that in a year or two he can now skip some of the cocoa and give you the ones that he wants in terms of value addition?
So for now, I think stakeholders are giving
plans are far advanced. All right. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Doc. Davis, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I think I was going to go on the same revise the law and the whole, because, like I said, I was 2009 National Best Farmer. So I had a cocoa farm. I didn't read the law before establishing the cocoa farm, Abusu. But I tell you what, I've given the whole cocoa farm out to my distant relatives. But when I read the law, that I have to sell to you before, no, I said, no, I won't do it. And, so I can't, because for me, it's business. I want my money. So I don't see the reason why I should produce cocoa, and maybe because I will do all the good agronomic practices and put in all my money, I'll get better yield than you, what you are doing with the farmers, then and quality than what you are doing with the farmers, then sell to you. Before, if I want to process, I say no, I've given it, you can go to Busu, 100 acres. I've given it down to my relatives. So please review your laws, and you will get a lot of people moving into cocoa plantation. A lot of people have money, they want to do that, but it's because of that caveat where we have to sell to you. For instance, like I said, if I'm going to process the quality from my farm, I know the quality from my farm, but I have to sell to you, and you are not going to sell that one to me.
Yeah.
You will get me cocoa from another. I don't think it's the best.
All right. Thank you, Davis. Rice millers. Let's have rice millers, please. After which we'll have peasant farmers.
Good afternoon, madam.
Okay, yes, sir.
My name is Yawadu Poku.
Yes, sir.
I wear two hats here. I'm in the poultry sector through the soya end, and I'm also the chair for Ghana Rice currently. I was a pioneer in the poultry sector. I started processing, soya processing. The poultry farmers are here. Ask them the question. What is the volume, the percentage of imports in their processing? 80% and above. That is not the way to go. It's just per functional. We're wasting everybody's time. 5 years from now, God willing, if we are all alive, we'll come here, same scenario, going round and round.
How do we change this?
That is it. Not there is my brother. I knew him all the way before he even came to APSA. Okay. You see the passion in them. This program is about agribusiness. But the gap between the farmer and processing and the market is so huge that you cannot even bridge it. I just came back from South Korea with the deputy minister last weekend. And I asked myself, what did I go there to see? Because to me, it's not going to happen. Technology from farm, even the water flowing through from Bulga all the way to Adan, they measure it. And they know how much the volume they need for the farms and what they should leave to go. Yeah. Are we joking? Now, madam, let's come to my contribution.
Yes, please.
The poultry end, the ministry is sitting here. I'm telling them it is wrong. And I'm telling the poultry farmers it's wrong. We going for day chicks are wasting everybody's time. When I saw Roger, I knew I don't need to talk. Because if Roger is there, he will say it all. The situation is that we should look at the feeding end. Once we get it under control, poultry will then flow. As of now, they cannot compete with the imported poultry. So that is the situation. Now come to rice. Rice is now a disaster. I want the ministry to hear. Okay. Currently, rice is a disaster. The local rice, if today, 19 June, somebody tells me he or she has been able to sell 1 kilo of local rice, let him stand up. We cannot sell. Wow. Even the importers from Singapore is a trading community. It's a trading state. They are not into farming. They are into trading. And they are the commodity people in Africa. Now, they are even asking us how we can help them to sell their rice. Because we have opened our gates so wide that we cannot compete. And wherever you go and see the Sussex story, you see the state involvement. Okay. That is how to do it. Now, look at the rice farmer in the Fumbishi Valley or Yagaba, or even in Bontanga or Akuse here. Go and see how the land preparation is done. Right. So at the end of the day, the volume that has to be harvested, we cannot get. And the price of everything keeps on going up. Okay. So we cannot compete in the market. And so, everything that we do is per functional. Okay. Even the banking sector, the financial institutions, they don't have the expertise. So when they come and tell me, Poku, you said you want raw material. Yes, I want raw material. It gives me money for raw material. What about the logistics? What about the labor? Even the sack. So at the end of the day, I take the money, I can't pay, and then they blacklist you. Okay. This is where we are. Yeah. But in other regimes, they will sit down with your accountant and work everything out. Okay. So that they know that the market will accept. In Ghana, the market is not accepting the local produce.
Okay.
This is where we are. And that is what agribusiness is about.
All right.
I wish we would devote time and work that things out.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll take the Peasant Farmers Association, but before I take them, if you own these 3 cars, kindly move them. You're blocking other people. GT 56721, GS 437120, and GE 811217. Some people don't know their car numbers, so if you can tell me the make and the color, it will help to. I don't remember my car number, so it's what it is. So please, if you own any of these cars, kindly move them. Right. Let me take Peasant Farmers Association quickly. We have just under 30 minutes to wrap up. So please, so that we cover everybody, when you have the opportunity, please be short and straight to the point. I'll take Peasant Farmers and I'll move to academia.
Thank you, moderator, and good afternoon all. My name is Richard Deku, a peasant farmer, representing the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. And I want to talk about the fact that in the presentation of Prof, he made mention of the fact that we cannot ignore vegetable production in our country.
Yes.
And vegetables are very important to the food basket of Ghana. In fact, we always want to prioritize the cocoa production areas and develop their roads, ignoring the vegetable production areas. And that is a very big problem to the development of our country. From where I come, we produce watermelon in large quantities.
Yes.
Ada is well known for the production of watermelon and tomatoes. And when you come to Ada during the harvesting of watermelon, you realize that it is something else. Now, last week, KIC helped with the distribution of some inputs to the farmers along the area. And then my executive director came all the way from Accra to visit, to supervise the distribution of the inputs. And in fact, when Dr. Roger came, you see watermelon plowed back into the soil. 10 acres, 20 acres, 30 acres of watermelon, fresh watermelon, plowed into the soil. Wow. Because the farmer needs the land to do other crops, to do tomatoes. And there's nobody to buy. Yeah. Davis made mention of the fact that yes, the orders are there, we have the orders, we cannot supply, we cannot produce. But I stand to differ. If we cannot, have processes, watermelon processing factories in our country, vegetable processing factories in our country, then where are we heading towards?
Okay.
During the lean season, we don't have watermelons to consume. When these fruits are harvested in their fresh nature, we can process them, store them, and have them consumed during the lean seasons. And so if we are not looking at this aspect of it, then we are not making a headway as a country. Thank you very much. And may the Lord bless us all.
Thank you too. Let me take some comments from academia, then I come here. Dr. Felix Owusu-Sakwa, Senior Research Fellow, if you can quickly give us your comment, and then I'll come to the crowd and then go to our listeners and viewers. Whilst we are waiting for him, I can take a gentleman here, and then here, and then here. Okay, Doc is ready. Please, I'll come to you. Yes, Doc.
Okay. So I want to, first of all, react to some of the comments and presentation by Professor Roger. Okay. So the first I want to comment on is about his comment on importation. I think that in general we have to talk about importation, but to cut it completely in a short while will create problems. So we need to have a plan, and our colleague from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has highlighted it. I'm just hopeful that they will follow through with their program, and I'm sure it will help us gradually do away with importation. But to just outright cut off of importation will create problems, because locally we don't have the capacity to produce that volume to replace what we import. It's not impossible. I know Nigeria, they started cutting down importation years back, and the last time I spoke with some colleagues there, they have cut importation to about 80%, and they are still striving to reduce it. They have a similar program like the Nkukong Kitinkiti we are trying to do, and that has been helpful. So we wish the policymakers well. We are there to support, to make sure that this becomes successful, and there's so many billions of dollars we are spending on importation can be used elsewhere to support our economy. Professor also made a very, very important statement on the use of animals for work in certain areas. And I really support that. Not all farmers in Ghana can afford using mechanization. Okay. And there are even areas that mechanization is a no-go area. It cannot be done. And therefore, we should not write off animal traction or the use of animal in smallholder farmers, because it is relatively cheaper, it is sustainable, and that is affordable to most of our farmers. In Ghana, farmers are smallholders. A few are large scale or medium scale. So we cannot do away with mechanized animal traction to support our smallholder farmers. Then the importation of adeo chicks is very unfortunate, because I'm very, very sure that apart from Animal Research Institute, Livestock and Poultry Research Center, University of Ghana, we have incubators. The only thing is that we are not commercially minded, so we have incubators to produce for our research and small-scale farming. What these research institutions need is support to provide the facilities. We have more than a lot of technocrats in this area that we should be able to produce day-old chicks and even import to our neighboring countries.
All right.
So I'm happy he mentioned that they are willing to work with the research institutes and the universities to be able to achieve that.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc. Dr. Frida Asem. Dr. Frida, she's from Department of Agricultural Economics and Agribusiness, School of Agriculture at the University of Ghana. Academia, we'll take your final from academia.
So thank you very much. Very interesting discussions going on here. So my comment will be on the youth or youth participation in agribusiness. So at the University of Ghana, for instance, we are doing a lot to try and mentor the youth to go into agribusiness. So, for instance, when we talk about agribusiness, along the value chain, there are several activities. It's not only production that the youth can be engaged in. They can use through technology and innovations, they can be able to contribute to the agribusiness space. And so at the University of Ghana, at the business school, they have incubation hubs. We have an entrepreneurship hub at the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement. And also now with the School of Agriculture, with funding from MTN, they also have a project where the youth are being engaged in vegetable production. So these are ways that at the University of Ghana, we are trying to get the youth into agribusiness, not necessarily just production, but getting them to integrate into the value chain and provide support. And they can also get self-employed. So we also have to look at that when it comes to the youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doc. Okay, let me pick a few questions from the room, and then we'll take from our viewers and listeners. Let's start from this side. The gentleman here, We take the two. Can I have the microphones, please?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. This is a brilliant organization. I'm happy because I also have passion in farming. My surprise or my worry now is that instead of people using tractor or the hoe as we previously do, people are now spraying their farms with herbicides. The effect of this is that they are killing all the rodents, including snails. I have a facility around the man. Those days, if it starts drizzling or raining, you go out to the wayside, you see a lot of snails that you can pick. It is no longer like that. Dr. Canton and Mr. Demoji, let me put this question to you. How may we stop the use of herbicides in spraying before we farm so that we can maintain our natural whatever? Thank you.
Okay, I'll let them answer later. I'll take one from here and then one from here.
Good night.
Now it's becoming elimination by rough tactics. Yes, please.
Okay, so I just have two comments to make.
Yes.
The discussions I can see hovers along around the government. And I can see that if you look at the history, we have successive governments coming in to truncate previous ones. And I can see, whatever it is, if we don't get some kind of continuity, we can make headway. That's why I so much love a prof's suggestion that we should have an agri service. Very critical, because if we don't, 4 years from now, if there should be a change in government, Akoko Nkiti will be scrapped. And it will have a challenge. So I don't know how we're going to solve this, but I think our parliamentarians should take that very serious. And let's get a service in place so that even in the course of change of government, what has been started, there would be traces of continuity whilst we bring in new policies to shape things up. If we don't do that, really we're not going anywhere. So that's a comment I want to put across.
So you can just do one so that others can also make their comments. Thank you for understanding. I'll take two more from here, then I'll come to you, gentlemen. Let the lady speak, please. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Gifty Rodo. I'm the regional chairperson for Greater Accra Poultry Farmers, representing the Ghana National Association of Poultry Farmers, the regional chairperson. Yes, you said you have met with the national the National Association in regard to the poultry, but I'm not aware of it. And I don't know who you met, and that is a bit something. But then, speaking about the poultry, trying to actually compete. If you're trying to produce to compete, one had to have one in mind. Those who are dominating the market right now, they are not going to easily let go of it. They call themselves the bulls in the market. They will use their horns to kick you out. And if you actually look at the definition of dumping, it means I intentionally have a 50-year plan to cripple you and then get you out of the business, and I take over and then begin to produce. And after the 50 years, I can retrieve everything because I keep on inflating the prices. And so Ghana government need to be intentional about trying to save our stomach, if we are controlled by others, our stomach, that is the only thing that one can, never give up. And if let me use this word. In the book of Genesis, God commanded the man to be fruitful, multiply, replenish, and subdue. And it's a fighting word, it's a warring word, until we fight for our economy, for our food on our table. Right. Until we are intentional about it, we will not get anywhere. Okay. When you talk about Greek being risky, I will ask if the food on your table is also risky. And so this is some of the things we have to be intentional about. That our youth, they are traveling, dying on sea, when we are sitting on gold. Okay. When our industry is full of potential. And so we have to be intentional, so that the bull of the market will not kick us out, right, and we depending on others. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll take him, then we'll come to you. Then I'll take the... Yes, sir. Please, let's be very short.
My first comment is to the ministry. Act like a father. When your children talk, you don't react back. Just take the good comments. Where you are lacking, you go and work on them and collaborate with everybody here. Okay. But our success is your success. But my substantive question is, we have been here before. We talk and do these things. Successive government have rolled out programs, and not sounding political, we have PFJ 1 and 2. Nobody can point to me one success story. You have also started something. What are the KPIs? What are the promise that at the end of the next 3 years, next 4 years, we are reducing onion imports by this percentage. Okay. We are cutting down the so much dollars we use in importing tomato. So this is what I would like to hear from you. Forgive me, I have not read the policy, but if you have some of these KPIs, you can share with us, so that we can be working towards. Because if you succeed, Ghana succeed. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Nicholas Isakekmana, a development economist and consultant. Just 2 points. The Bank of Ghana's prudential guidelines has a major effect on how banks treat agriculture. And I think that is quite critical, that going forward, the Bank of Ghana is brought on board these discussions. Because it's a one-size-fits-all, whether it's commerce, whether it's imports, and it affects capital adequacy, loan loss provisions, etc. And the examples from East Africa of how central banks in Tanzania, Kenya are tweaking their rules. So I think next time, my recommendation to you, bring Bank of Ghana to these conversations. Okay. They are quite critical. Second point has to do with local economic development and our district assemblies. This government has started a major policy shift to push more money to assemblies. A lot of the issues I hear are solvable at the district assembly level. Assemblies are going through the process of district development planning. Take an interest. Go to the meetings. Make a case. Some of the problems are not Accra level matters. They can be resolved locally. But if you don't participate, I'm sorry, they won't take account of your needs. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We have to wrap up now. We'll have to wrap up. We can't take all the questions. We'll take the final comments, 30 seconds each, and then we wrap up from here. We'll start with you, Prof., and then we run. Okay, David starts, and then we wrap up. So David's, Prof, will take 30 seconds each, and then we close.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think we've had a very good my only comment is for us to go back and put all the things, the relevant things we've discussed into action. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nete?
All right, thank you. A few things, let me highlight them quickly. We finance the whole value chain. I want us to have in mind that we need the very big companies. So whatever we can do to support them, because they are the pool end of whatever we are producing, the cocoa processes, all the processes that we have, we need them to anchor the production that we do. We need to improve production and productivity, not just production. We can increase the acreage. I'm doing 1,000 acres. I've seen farmers who have done 1,000 acres and come up with 200 bags.
Okay.
That is not what we are looking at. We support you with working capital. We support you with CAPEX, long-term financing. I talked about DBG a bit. They've mentioned OVCF. We work with them. We work with a whole lot of people just to solution all the requirements in the agribusiness space. We have a whole desk that looks at equipment financing. The head is here. He's Mr. Clement Amanfo. You can talk to him. We're sitting at the front. We look at equipment, small equipment, medium equipment, big equipment for businesses. And that is also very important for us. We lend at 10%, which is close, very close to the 9% that was mentioned. Okay. So you can say that we lend at 9%.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Just a second. So you can come to us. We work with MasterCard Foundation to do that. And then finally, we support women and youth. And like I said, the youth has to take the opportunity and push this forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Mavis.
I had a couple of comments about the disconnect between research and industry. Well, at Impact Food Hub, we seek to bridge that gap between research, innovation, and industry. So helping SMEs with tailored support services in terms of food product development, helping you with certification, FDA, JSA, training, capacity building, helping you acquire tailored equipment that can suit your needs. So yes, we may think that there's a disconnect, but you need to speak to the right people to see how they can help you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bright.
Yes. Mine should be 1 minute. Yes, there's always a political continuation. That's why when you look at the Feed Ghana policy document, we review the PFJ2, and it's listed out there, all the things that they have done, where there are achievements, where there are difficulties, we look at them.
Okay.
So there's some level of continuation. Then we have with a program under the Feed Ghana, which is called institutional farming. And we are collaborating with the key research institutions. I think University of Ghana is on board, KNUST is on board, UCC is on board.
Okay.
We are doing that because we want them, especially University of Ghana, to give us the seeds. We want them to go into the seed productions. That's why we are collaborating with them. The prison service, police service, the army, everybody is on board. Okay. So we are asking all institutions, and if you are a pastor here, faith-based institutions must also go into farming.
Sure.
Yes, clearly spelled out. We have finished the validation with the Feed Ghana policy document, and there are clear spelled out KPIs. But you know the time frame, we cannot discuss now. Okay. But you can see me, I'll give you the full complement of the Feed Ghana policy document. Yes, I have to mention this one, that the problems of agriculture, listening to everybody has not changed. But in our policy, we have several interventions that will resolve most of the problems.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bright. We'll take final from
I want
Prof.
to answer the Mr. Fairman question.
Then that's like 3 seconds.
Yes. You see, what we need to do as a country is to differentiate organic farming or organic produce on the shelves.
Okay.
Now there's no differentiation. So if you want to stop people from using herbicides and co, there must be a differentiation of produce on the shelves. That's key.
All right. Okay, thank you. Prof, your final words, 30 seconds.
Mine is I want to thank City for what they have done. And I would like to also tell the Honorable Minister, Honorable Eric Opoku, and my good friend John DeMelo, that we would like you to support City. Be a one-day wonder. We will have to subject you to scrutiny again. We shouldn't wait till it happened to the other government. They spent 18 years, no review, nothing. They did what they want. It won't happen again in this country. We will not agree. So that we will subject you to scrutiny, and it will even help you Like when we came for the President Mahama one, it was so wonderful. 2 deputy ministers even, I don't know how they called to congratulate you for that. But it helps. It gives you delight. We are here to support Ghana to develop. Nobody's against anyone. So it's a good faith. We are prepared to work with you. And then my last point is my colleagues from CSR and the university. I'm disappointed. Maybe they are not into field research. I have worked in CSR for 31 years before I went on retirement in 2021 December. It was Jordan Rawlins's period, some time back, that they sponsored research. After that, all government, what they do is they pay our salaries. That is fine. And then the rooms they have for us. Vehicles, fertilizer, everything with it are donor-driven. I am telling you, bring the 2-3 director generals to. They are donor-driven. So if donors are giving us money, how dare you sit here and tell them we should do Ghana research? Are you mad? You see, the donor has his interest. So he will dictate. They say, he who beats the drum, pays the piper, calls for the tune. So, no. I am saying that we haven't been sponsoring research. No, it's not views. I'm telling you a fact. This is not for you to have a view on. I'm giving you what pertains. Just last week, I can spare the university because they don't do so much research like us. It's student research. And let me tell you, UTAG, CTAG, 2TAG have threatened to go on strike because of what? Book and research allowance. And that money is peanuts. How much is it? I've forgotten now. It was so small. You can't just do any research. So all that I'm saying is that let us work and help ourselves. Honorable, I would like you to let the minister know this is a good thing. They should sponsor it so that maybe by December we can come again and interrogate what has been done or promised. Thank you.
Prof, when you stand up. But thank you very much to our panel. Professor Roger Canton, Agriculture Research Scientist, Davis Kobo, President, Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters, FAGE, William Nete, Head of Agribusiness, Absa Bank Ghana, Dr. Mavis Oreku Asari, Food Scientist and CEO of Impact Food Hub, and then Bright Edward Koji Demaji, Coordinator, Feed Ghana Program from the Ministry of Agri. Now, the Committee on Agri, the Vice Chairman, has requested to meet with all the associations, the Agri associations. So he's here after the program. Please see him. And then some of the issues raised, they'll see how they can help for that to work. I want to say thank you to all of you. We are hoping to see you tomorrow at the Agri Fair at the Ifwa Sutherland Park. It's going to be a great one, so please be there. We'll say special thank you to the teams that have made this possible. Iram and team, Neil Latte of the Business Desk and his team, Bernard Avles Samens, and also JB and his team for making this possible. I am Vivian Kai Loko. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Is almost here. The much anticipated Agrifair 2025 is just around the corner, happening from the 20th to the 22nd of June at the Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park in Accra. Get ready for a fun, educative, and exciting experience as we bring together the very best in agriculture, food, innovation, and entertainment all in one place. Exhibitors, if you have registered, it's time time to pay and secure your spot before it's too late. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your product to thousands of attendees. Call 0205-973-973 now to make your payment and lock in your space at Ghana's biggest agri event. Come and enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices and treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Don't